Ladies and gentlemen, sirs and ma'ams, dudes and dames, officially good welcome to the PTR stream. We're today playing around with the PTR, trying out the PTR, seeing what we can do. How OP can we really make boss powers? Can we have them go like completely out of the ordinary? What can you do? How far can you bring things, take things? That is the try today. I think with Necromancer, we have to do shadow damage. Why shadow damage? Well, because that's what Necro can scale, right? So we'll see about that. Any nice weekend plans? We got two aunties visiting my children have never met because they live quite far away. They are marrying, and my wife is making their makeup, so meeting some old family members and then having a good time, pretty much. Walsey, greetings to Poland. Dzień dobry, my friend. Let me show you something. Right now, we're rocking this power here. It's called Bile's Ibeam, and it does 1,000,000 damage base. Okay, that's base, which is going to have me activate my bonus damage, then bonus damage, then bonus damage. So we're sitting already like here, and now I'm going to drink a potion, and look at him. 708 million damage ticks. It's not billions yet. But we're working on it, okay? The problem is that I don't really have a functioning build with this right now. So as you can see, I just have everything stacked up, everything for full shadow damage over time. So we don't really have a super functioning build. It might be possible to maybe get this with Bloodwave together, because Bloodwave would somewhat make sense, I think, to take. I think you can activate damage numbers in Titan Quest 2. So like right here, killing this thing, not happening. But as soon as I drink my potion, things are crazy. So that's already working. But it's more like a super nuke, which I don't really like. What I need to test is if this power from Varshan's lifesteal, because this is a 800,000 base, this is a 100,000 base, okay? So if we could scale this power by maybe using something like... So if I, for example, get the Avarice Explosion, which says here, activating your main boss power inflicts nearby enemies with corrupting damage over 2 seconds. So I need to somehow activate it. I need something that... Hitting an enemy affected by damage over time spawns a wave of acid that deals poison damage. No, that's not worth it. Because I do damage over time, but I do shadow damage over time. So I need to have an ability that can always be activated very easy, right? Here, like, you could do bleeding damage after damage an enemy, spawn a pool of blood. So we just need something that activates, right? Over and over and over again. Preferable as often as possible. Like casting a basic skill applies sparking damage, for example. Like that I just cast a basic skill. And every time I do this, it just activates, right? Casting a shadow or fire skill grants bonus movement speed. Here, maybe that one. So we just need something that activates when I do anything, to then see like that we get the shadow damage over time to trigger as often as possible. Mixstorm, good to see you there. AV Rocks also, thank you for the brand new subscription. Good morning. Because right now, like, if you look at this, what did I say whenever I use a basic skill? So whenever I use a basic skill right now, correct? Or what was a basic skill? No, whenever casting shadow or fire skill. So whenever I cast a shadow or fire skill, like the guys around me, see, like they get straight away poison damage over time, just from me attacking. But it's like a consistent poison damage over time buff. So if I have like a lot of attack speed, that should technically work to be absolutely nasty, hopefully. Okay, let's see how that works against the boss. We're gonna curse him because cursing is important. Then we're gonna call this skill, and then we're just gonna hit him. So now the shadow damage over time, if I look at how much damage it does, goes up to 250k. Problem is, that's only a couple of millions now, right? So you see the million of ticks he's taking damage. So that's working. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 5. Curse him again. So that's working, the millions of damage. But it's not enough. Especially not if you compare this now to Belial's Ibeam, right? So if we now swap this one out again for Beliles, however you pronounce him. Ibeam. That is the true crazy damage. Not sure why it is scaling so high, but now I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna drink the potion and whoop. Right? He just dies to the shadow damage over time. And the thing is, you can do this every 5 seconds again. I don't know if there's a way to reduce the potion cooldown, because that's the thing. I'm kind of like stuck with not getting more, right? I'm kind of stuck with not getting the whole thing. So I can possibly just make a build that every 5 seconds does insane damage. But is that it? is that it? A build that every 5 seconds does insane damage? Maybe? I mean, I also do the damage over time. So it's not like that I only do this every 5 seconds, right? It just stays up. But how will we continuously boost this? Because I can do this, right? Drink my potion, everything dies. This is the drink potion build. And then I drink my potion, everything dies. I would need a way to get potions back, because that's the problem. How do I get potions back? Isn't there a way? Wait, wait. For some reason, doesn't my skill hold your horses for a minute, Chan. Doesn't my skill stop attacking me? Here, when you look at it, every 30 souls consumed refills one of your healing potions. So if I actually use my soul rift, I will get that done. So what I'm doing is I'm soul rifting to refill healing potions. There you go. Then I'm just killing everything. Because again, the damage you're dealing is at its highest in the millions. What we need is we need to restore resource. Why? Because with full resource, the Ibeam does more damage. That's how it works. Because the Ibeam does consume all your resource to just do more damage. So I could do this. This is the new I build. I need more. How do I say this now? Need to upgrade the power. I think that's important. So let's take the Ibeam and upgrade it a bit. Because look at the damage. Right now it's 1 million base damage already. Before we were like less than 1 million, but we're already sitting at 1 million base damage. Just like that. So right now I'm just going through the area. We need to find a way to use our skills smarter though. So if I'm already doing shadow skills, what I wonder is, does this count as a skill? So this is Belial's Ibeam, right? But if I'm already using the Ibeam, does it count as a shadow skill that would scale, for example, with the Terror or the Gloom? Because both should technically scale that thingy. So what I need to do is I need to take out the Essence Regain from Grim Harvest. I need to take the Core Skill thingy. And we need to go for these two. Okay. That's already good. And we need to take the crit out because I'm pretty sure it can't crit. Take the crit out because I'm pretty sure it can't crit. And we go for Crippling Darkness. Okay, how do I get a resource back quick though? Does Lucky Hit Resource work on a boss power? That's the good question, because this does probably not have any Lucky Hit itself, right? Oh, by the way, I should probably just start destroying the I-beams. Because the goal is to always have full resource. But look at this. I mean, it's certainly working, right? My plan is kind of planning out. Hello, apparitions. Oh, fantastic. Okay, started the day's already good. We just need to push this further. What's up, Royal? So, Royal, what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out how broken are boss powers. I already know of a mage boss power that's absolutely broken. Why mage? Because mage does fire damage, and mage can scale fire damage amazing. The question always is, what damage does your character deal and what can you do with things? For example, the Barbarian has a lot of bleed damage and there's a bleed damage power. So my goal today is make a shadow power go bonkers like I do here right now, and then potentially make a bleed power go bonkers too. So where can you go? What can you do? What is humanly possible with this bullshit? Because that's what the fun should be this season. This is what I want to do in season 8, right? If I'm going to play it, I'm going to try to go crazy with the powers. Obviously. Because where else is the fun if you're not going crazy with the powers? There's a rune that gains resource. Yeah, but the rune that gains resource needs to have an interaction like movement or something like this. So we need to find out what to do. Like, obviously, as soon as I drink a potion, I can start spamming other skills. So that's definitely feasible. So, like, I don't have to run around. I can walk into enemies. I can use a skill, right? And then I can do, like, corpse explosions or basic attacks to gain resource back. But that seems unwieldy. So I need something that gives me cooldown reduction for this. Look at the boss, by the way. Activate this. Curse him. He comes back. If he comes back. Curse him. And then we drink our potion. Look. I mean, it's great. It's great. Yeah, so the rune that gains resource, it would technically be better to get a rune that gets damage, like some constant damage buff. But the main source that we need is we need to get a resource back. We could do lucky hit to restore resource and then just make it full. Because whenever we drink our potion, we need to have full resource right now. Because it's just the biggest multiplier. Like, we're talking about which we're using right now. Okay, we're talking about this in a second. Looks awesome. Hope they don't nerf it. The thing is, this is not OP. So I am currently only in Torment 3, okay? And you have to consider that my glyphs are all level 100 because I used the boost. So my glyphs are all 100. I have 300 Paragon points. So I am beyond the strength level that you should have with this power together. So this would only be possible if you're completely maxed out right now, correct? This is not just like, oh, I started this season and this is instantly working. Nah. But it is something to work towards to, if that makes sense, right? Something like in Torment 1, you can start with it, and then you can move yourself to Torment 2, and so on. And that's important. So right now, this looks like wow, but it's just good, right? And then the sword stuff is actually more crazy. But I kind of like the gameplay loop of trying to figure out how to do this now. Will you play Last Epoch or PoE 2, sir? We will play, we currently have a PoE 2 project running, the God Project, on a solo self-found character that we will continue in the next couple of days. We will do the PoE 2 race again. I'm not sure which class we're going to race with yet, but we'll definitely do some more racing. And there is obviously going to be maybe Last Epoch. Well, the problem is that Last Epoch is overlapping with PoE 2, and I'll be honest with you, I enjoy PoE 2 more than Last Epoch. I mean, Last Epoch ain't bad, don't get me wrong, but it also ain't good. Well, as good as, so yeah, for me. Did you forget to select your pet? Oh, we certainly have to put the pet on. Thank you for telling me. Which one do we have? Here, put my little goat boy back on. Thank you for reminding me. Let's actually collect the spectral ash. That would be useful. Yeah, this is like the most fun I've had in a while. What we can do is we could maybe turn our thing into a shadow. Oh, and if we're sending into no, we could turn our blood mist into a shadow skill and then use something in the direction of automatic corpse explosion. And automatic corpse explosion, like if we stand in desecrated ground, we do more damage. That could work. I gotta think about it. If I drink a potion and then go into blood mist, oh, that works. Interesting. Interesting. We're gonna think about what we can do. We need the Shroud of False Death. That's for sure. Why the Shroud of False Death? Because that one will straight away boost all our passives. And as you notice, like the more passives I have, the better it is. What we also need is more essence. Because right now my skill says here, activating your main boss power spends all your primary resource to increase its damage. That sounds great, doesn't it? But obviously, that only works if we're then actually, like, you know, if we have more resource. So we need to change things up a little bit to get more resource. That's like when we need to redo some of the Paragon boarding. Very good, very good. Okay, as soon as we get more Spectral Ash, we're straight up spending it on the power. Because, like, we're just getting this damage higher. Like, the multiplier is currently at 3,000%, and it started at 2.6k. Okay, Apparition is being bonked. Chat. Come on, come back, come back, come back. 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna wait for him to be back. Cursed, 5. Oh, you hit me. So finally deforced dead with Season 8? No. You can have a lot of fun in Season 8. So like, if you like Diablo, you can still have a lot of fun in Season 8. A lot of things changed, so that's a fact. Things changed. For some to the worse, for others to the better. I don't agree with all their changes. I don't think they're all bad per se. So generally speaking, I wouldn't say the game is dead. That being said, there definitely needs to be some soul searching. Oh, he drops way more Spectral Ash now. That's amazing. Okay, that's good. There needs to be definitely some soul searching be done by Diablo, what they actually want to be. Like, where do they want to go? Because they're now trying to become more try-hard, but before that, they moved in a direction of complete casual. Right? Do you think Blood Search will be good in Season 8? I don't think any build that's not using boss powers will be good, Mudman. Now, what can a boss power do for here? Activating your main boss power grants unbreakable stealths for 2 seconds. You deal 15% increased overpower damage while stealth. Okay, so if you find a way with your core skill here on the this is the power from Gregoire, casting a core skill makes lightning tiles around you. These lightning tiles will erupt and do critical strike damage. So if I spam my core skill Blood Surge, I will make these lightning tiles. But if I spam my core skill and continuously activate the lightning tiles, I go into stealth and do 15% more overpower damage, right? So that can work together, technically. And then you'll just have to find something that adds on top of this that would, like, make you even stronger. For example, you could get 22% more critical strike chance or more damage versus vulnerable enemies. There is ways to get power. You can get more attack speed, gain 5% attack speed, so you can get another 10% attack speed like that. It's not a lot. There are ways to make yourself stronger. Any boss power that might help with a Blight build. See, like Jordan, we're doing a Blight build. But instead of having a boss power to help with a Blight build, the boss power is the Blight build. Okay? So the difference is, my friend. See, like, we play Belial's Ibeam. Boom. That's the Ibeam. So I drink a potion and everything just dies around me. So you're not actually making the Blight build stronger, you are the Blight build. Now there's an interesting thought here though, because how do we scale this? Okay, how do we get this to go crazy? And what we could do is we could actually play the Blight Amulet. Because there's the amulet that will give us... There's the amulet that will give us more Reaper's Pursuit. Because we're playing the Reaper's Pursuit that gives us for every shadow power in our more damage, okay? So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 shadow powers so far. That's already very useful. So we have with the 4 shadow powers 6% per. That's a good multiplier of damage. If we now, for example, play an amulet with a greater affix to Reaper's Pursuit, that could be nice. The longer to level 60 is not true. If you know how to play the game, if you use strongholds and so on, you are still going to be level 60 in around 5 hours instead of 3 hours. So you can certainly get to level 60 still fast. You just gotta follow a scheme. So instead of spamming Hell Tides, you need to go to strongholds. You need to do the smart things, right? Do your seasonal quests. Don't forget about your mercenary. Like, I don't even have my mercenary with me right now, correct? So there are things to do to like make the leveling curve still be very smooth, okay? It was tested by some creators, and they took around 5 to 6 hours, which is okay. What about this staff that does lightning skill damage? You mean the scythe. The scythe. Not good, because you deal 100% increased shadow damage to enemies affected by a curse. Okay, so I curse the enemy, I activate this, and now watch his life, and I drink my potion. Boom. Look at that. That was my shadow damage over time. Okay. The game is beginning to be not harder, but much more for those who stream 24/7, not for the guys who want 2 hours for the game. The problem is that their idea to make the game rewarding is to make it harder. So Blizzard has this plan in their mind that they want to make progression feel more rewarding. But the problem is that in order for progression to feel more rewarding, they think that difficulty is the key. Making Torment 4 harder to reach is more fun. That's their assumption. So making something harder to achieve and not so easy to achieve is supposedly going to make it more fun. Now for me, for someone who likes challenge, it's fine. I don't mind. Like, I play Elden Ring games, right? I have a ginormous pony hall for a reason, right? Okay. But some people just, they're not looking for that, you know? They were looking for mindless blasting, for just jamming through and that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like, I'm not sure if their idea of fun is what the community will perceive as fun. That's the disconnect there. But the effect looks lame. Which effect looks lame? My Ibeam? Wait, you're saying my Ibeam looks lame? My Ibeam is so cool, bruv. Haters. Okay, by the way, how high do we have it now? We're sitting at, look at that, 3 million base. And it can be upgraded 20 times, chat. So we're sitting like yeah. And that's not even all my multipliers multiplying, okay? So this is just barely scratching the surface. We haven't even started yet. The highest I've seen it do is 705 million. Just like that. Chat. But that was at the start of the stream, very beginning, when I started using this. So all my multipliers, like full essence, right? Because let's not forget, when I use my essence, the power gets 1.8% more damage per point of essence I spend, and I can level this one up too. Hey chat, I can level this up. See? This is 2% more damage per point of essence spent. So you can imagine what that means. I drink the potion and he's dead. You can imagine what that means, right? If I get like 2% per 100, like I have 100 essence. We need more essence, chat. We need the lucky hit to refill my essence completely. That's what we need. I'm open for conclusions, chat. I'm open for ideas. How do we get our essence to refill faster? So I can do this and just completely eat him up. That was a 2 billion hit. A 2 billion damage over time tick. I saw it. Bah. Okay, let's teleport back into town and do some brainstorming. So we just get there. It's been an awesome ride, Jordan. I'm happy that the Blight mini build was fun for you. Now we're going to be hoping that we can create even more fun. So let's open all the uniques here. Okay, because I haven't equipped any uniques. You might notice my equipment is absolutely basic, chat. So we haven't looked into what can we actually do to improve our damage. I haven't really looked into it. I have really just thrown on the boss power, and we're just like, what happens if I just throw on the boss power? So let's get all these items in, and then let's see what we might be able to do to press the damage further. Okay? Which boss power does fit into the fray? Isn't there a power that allows... Isn't there an aspect that allows to drink health potion to refill essence? I mean, we can check potion. What do we have? We got aspect of untimely death. That was, you may now drink. Yeah, this is for overhealing, so that doesn't work. We get essence, so that would be aspect of serration. We get the swelling curse, but none of these like really essence heavy. We get resource here, resource. So we get exposed flash. Exposed flash has a chance to generate essence when hitting vulnerable enemies. That could refill me. We could gather blood orbs to refill essence technically, and that would be amazing actually. But I would have to put it on a ring aspect, so it's... your corrupting effects have a chance to generate essence. The problem is that is a lucky hit. So my issue is that I don't think the power could generate essence. But it could work. So we need to see if it actually lucky hits. But you notice, like, there's nothing that really refills essence here right now. And we need as much as possible. We need maximum essence galore. The thought is that we could play this amulet. So let me put all the uniques in. So the main thought would be step number 1. We could play the amulet here. This one says 5 ranks to Reaper's Pursuit. Okay? And also ranks to Gloom. Now the problem is I would lose an aspect, which kind of stinks. No one likes to lose an aspect, right? But it is Reaper's Pursuit, and Reaper's Pursuit, 5 more ranks in this case, would now say, for each darkness skill in your action bar, gain 16% more damage. I mean, but before it's 6, now it's 16, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4 skills in my action bar. Not bad. And if I wanted to, I could also shoot blights out in between, right? And then we could do lucky hit to restore essence. So it's not completely out of the ordinary that this might actually be working. Alternative, you also have the, let me check, progression. Ah, there's finally the ash. I've been looking for the ash to get like more. Okay, so we have ash now to level everything up. Thank you very much. So we can bring this now to 20. We can bring the avarice to 20. Okay, look at this, chat. So 3.4% more damage per resource point spent and 3 million damage base with a 12,000% multiplier. Good. So we could use the amulet. Alternative, there is also the scythe, but I don't think it's good because you have this, the bloodless scream. Your darkness skills chill enemies for up to 100% and deal 200% increased damage to frozen enemies. Your darkness skills have a chance to regenerate additional essence against frozen targets. But that's bad. Because what does it do? I guess even Piercer with a greater affix into the Reaper's Pursuit could be a good thing. Which is nice. Might work, might not work. We can put on the Juggernaut aspect somewhere. We need to change the chest piece. I said it. So we need to definitely play the Shroud of False Death, because the Shroud of False Death gives 1 to all passives, and that would be everywhere, right? It would be like Terror, Gloom, Reaper's Pursuit. Reaper's Pursuit is now 18% more. We get Crippling Darkness. We get more amplified damage against enemies. You get the more armor, more thorns, more fortified. Like here, while fortified, you deal more damage. So we get all of the important things, right? That's amazing. Love to see it. We have our Blood Mist be a mobility skill, or we gain more crit chance, but that's useless. So Blood Mist is Blood Misting 2. And technically, we could make Blood Mist a darkness skill 2, because you have the codex here. So we could say Blood Mist leaves behind a trail of desecrated ground that seconds, but it doesn't turn it into, didn't it turn it into darkness skill? In my head, it was always turning into darkness skills. Am I crazy? For some reason, I always thought it turns into darkness skill in my bar. No, we can't actually. Looks like you're building my season 7 build. Yep, and we're hoping for. What we need is another power that works with this, because we have the Belial's Ibeam. Okay, that's now together with the Avarice Explosive Ore. It's more damage. So activating your main boss power is more damage. Straight away, 3.4. So currently it's a 340% damage increase. Not enough, but it's good. Then we get the lobbed bombs. Killing an enemy with your main boss power reduces your ultimate skill cooldown. And we currently had activating your main boss power inflicts nearby enemies with corrupting damage. Yeah. So if we activate the Ibeam, we also corrupt everyone around us. And again, we do shadow damage with everything we do. Huh. So that works. But So hitting an elite with a main boss power creates an inert blister with 10% of their maximum life for 15 seconds. Killing the blister removes life from them. Hey, that could work. We got burning enemies take more damage from you. We don't burn them, sadly. Burning enemies take more damage from you from damage over time effects. But how can we burn someone? Wait, so for 5 seconds after activating your main boss power, all your other attacks burn enemies for damage. Does that mean they burn? So if I put the Endariel's Flaming Skull in there, then I'll burn enemies? Do I understand that correct? Okay. Let's check that on a puppet here right now, how much damage that would be. The best way to farm Ancestrals, usually just literally playing the game, doing the Helltide at this point. I mean, reasonably, they should burn. Are you max level? Yes, we're max level, Mata. This is the test server. We boosted our character to the max level. We activated everything that's activable. And now we're checking what we can do. What is possible with boss powers. Okay, we get a boss training dummy. Activate this to then go for this. And this is already like billions, chat. This is billions. This is ticking for billions now. Okay, corpse explosion, curse it because it increases the damage. Let's do it again. Billions. 14 billion. 13 billion. Okay, we need more wait. I need full resource. Curse it again. And yes, now, boom. Billions, billions, billions. So the goal is we need to always cast every 6 seconds. We need to have full resource. Okay, we managed to scale it already up to billions, ladies and gentlemen. 34, 45, 22, 54, 20. Yes, 60 billion, 60 billion. Okay. We're going places, chat. We're like this is looking good. This is looking good. We're moving. But we need more resource because again, the best part would be having now more maximum resource. How would I get more maximum resource? Which is there like was there a mythic that gave more maximum resource? I don't remember. You could technically play Ring of Starless Skies. That's a 50% damage multiplier. The Harlequin Crest is not an option. I guess we need a helmet with maximum resource then. So we need to take this one and just get ourselves like roll that over to maximum resource now. We have the resources, so it should be fine. Because every point of resource is 3.4 damage multiplier. That's crazy, right? Every point more is a 3.4 damage multiplier. That's not a little. That's quite something. Let's take the helmet, and the life per second here right now is going to get re-rolled until we hit resource, okay? So let's... Here, 14 maximum resource. That's not the maximum we can get. 16 would be the maximum, but we'll take it. I mean, 14 maximum resource. Let's pull out the calculator because we're obviously old. Times 3.4 is just straight up 47.6% more damage. Soul Rift and Unmaker. Sir, that wouldn't actually be the worst idea. The problem is it doesn't give resource itself. It would just give us a longer Soul Rift. I'm not sure if this is good for the build or if that's generally just helpful. Problem is, we also would need to drop the two-handed weapon to get a one-handed weapon and an offhand with maximum essence. But I feel like if I do that, we're losing a lot of damage. So I could go for maximum life here with a wand, and that would be vulnerable damage. And then I could go for an offhand. Okay. And we could reroll the critical strike damage into... Well, you could reroll that into a chance to restore maximum resource. I'm not sure if you want to. And you would have to reroll the damage here until you hit maximum resource. Okay. But right now, the boss power is doing a base of 4 million. Okay. And if I put this off right now, the base damage would drop to 2.6. So that's 1 million less for using a weapon. So I don't think the more resource here would be worth it. Then again, that 12 maximum resource is 12 times 3.4. Right? But I feel like helmet, yes. Other piece of gear, no. What we can do is, like, we have to redo the Paragon board. So let's actually redo this. Because I think if I go to the side, we can go live and stuff. So here you would take the standard eliminator glyph. So let's go through this. Because the eliminator glyph would give us maximum intelligence, more damage to elites, and damage to elites, right? So this is like a no-brainer. That's just more damage. We would obviously take more damage. Everything, like not taking more damage would just be like makes absolutely no sense. Great, so we get that one taken. But now you might be forced to actually take this. So this is the bone graft. Problem says, hitting enemies with bone skills increases your damage by 1% and your maximum essence by 2 for 8 seconds. Do we have any bone skill we could use? We need to have these shadow skills in our bar. Right? So the shadow skills are fixed. Because the shadow skills are all... We can actually remove this. The shadow skills are all what gives us the bonus damage multiplier here on the Reaper's Pursuit. Season 8 comes out end of April. We could use Bone Spirit to restore essence, technically. And as a skill to hit enemies, but I mean, easiest would be just going for Bone Spear as a high lucky hit chance build. Right? That would be presumably the easiest choice. Just take the Bone Spear. Bone Spear makes the first enemy vulnerable for 3 seconds. Sure, I can do that. You gain 10% maximum essence for 5 seconds. Huh. If its main projectile critical strikes, 2 more bone shards form... Yeah, sure. We can do that. This is where I gave up on Diablo. Billions of damage is bloody stupid. I mean, billions or millions or trillions, what does it matter, Lombo? The best Path of Exile 2 builds, for example, are just doing the equivalent of billions of damage. And just absolutely obliterating the end game. No matter which game you play, you'll end up with builds that are just stupid in that regard. That's just the nature of how these work. Healing received. Critical strike chance, critical strike chance. Don't really need that. But we want this. Then we would go for the critical strike damage. Like, the problem is we don't need the critical strike damage here. Which kind of makes me salty because we are not critical striking. Like, nothing we do is actually critical striking. So it would be all like a bit of a waste to go into this. Because there's nothing to be gained, and the bone damage is also useless for us, so that would actually make me unhappy. But I'm just trying to find a way how to scale things properly right here. Actually, let's go over this side and just ignore these. So that would give us more essence and suddenly bring us up to 145 essence. Right? I would have to re-roll to try something.
No witchcraft here, only honest magics. Father bless.
I want the lucky hit chance to restore 90% of your primary resource. Because the Bone Spear has a 60% base lucky hit chance. Okay, so the lucky hit chance of the Bow Spear is just illegal, frankly spoken. I mean, that's 15% of 60% to restore resource, but still, like if we're fighting a boss, for example, we can still do the boss target dummy. We can activate this to drain our resource. Problem is we wouldn't have the resource to... That was a brain fart moment because we wouldn't have the resource to... Oh, that brings me to an interesting... Yeah, we don't have the resource to refill our resource with a skill, so that wouldn't work. Okay, we need to do this. I need to get rid of all the corpses. Okay, there's one single corpse. If I activate this, does it make corpses? Doesn't actually make corpses. Bone Storm can be made into a shadow skill, yes, but Soul Rift is better. Why is Soul Rift better? Very simple. Soul Rift itself has already a 75% bonus damage when you use it. So Soul Rift is vastly better. Again, we need something. We need to use skills that allow us to automatize the build. Like, you want this build to be automatic. You don't want to do much with this build. So the plan is obviously play Shadow Aura. So we want to play the aspect of the Cursed Aura that we don't have to worry about auraing. Right? Now we have the aura happen automatic. We drink our potion with our shadow damage happen around us. The problem is, again, how do we refill our resource straight away? Now, what we could do is you could use the glyphs, maybe. There is the resource here, what is called? Spend maximum resource. And we could get resource back. Here, restore 3.5 primary resource. So if I spend 5% of your maximum resource, I restore 3.5 resource. But I spend pretty much 100% of my resource. So I should get back. Does resource generation work for this? This is the big question, for example. So if I now use my potion, I should instantly get this back to a degree. Let's try. Didn't work, right? Because he doesn't see it as I'm spending it. Since this power here, just activating spends all your primary resource. That, like, see, this interaction is not working as it should. If I, though, now, for example, shoot a Bone Spear, it actually works. Right? The Bone Spear is supposed to deplete 26. I'm at 70, but I'm at 56. So I'm not spending 26. I'm getting some back. Right? So we're not emptying as fast as we should. But again, if I use my power, I'm getting like nothing back, which makes no sense. I mean, if we have the Soul Rift active, that helps. You are correct. So this is a boss training dummy. Again, we activate the Soul Rift, and then we, like, here, see, we're getting this back. So if I now had a way to always have my Soul Rift active, we're good to go. So you're indeed right. We would have to find a way to pretty much get this running. But my Soul Rift is not there. So you might be correct with your sentence of saying, why don't we just play Unmaker? Replace Varshan to Urivar's doesn't help because you need to kill things. So Urivar's hero power, you're correct. The lobbing bombs, where are they? Killing an enemy with your main boss power reduces your ultimate skill cooldown. What if I'm fighting a boss? Doesn't work. So it might almost be a forced thing to say, hey, what if we just play the Unmaker? Could be good. So it would just allow us. We could also just temper Soul Rift duration on every single item, and then try to temper ultimate cooldown reduction. Technically.
What will it be?
You could also go with tempering. What do we have? Casting a Macabre skill restores resource. Casting an ultimate skill restores resource. That doesn't work. Blood orbs restore resource. Blood orb restoring resource would work if I go with the aspect that restores resource whenever I pick up a blood orb. When I use the drink a potion to gain back resource rune combo, I don't know. I haven't looked at the drink a potion, or you're talking about the talking about if I drink a potion, I get 200 offering, and I need. This would restore 140 primary resource, huh? You think that works, Fenris? I mean, it wouldn't help us with our ultimate cooldown. It would just get us the resource back. It's a good point. I like your way of thinking. It works. Look at you, sexy motherfucker. That's a simple one. So we can activate everything, right? We can do all our damage, and we just have permanent resource. It's certainly useful to get into the billions of damage here right now. That's good. We're doing currently less damage because we don't have like the Paragon board done. I'm just not sure if I want to put all the points in only to get the maximum essence here, right? Is this really worth it? Because again, if I want this, if I want the bonus damage, I need to hit someone with a bone skill. But I'm not doing that. Right? Like like I could drink a potion, but then I would have to shoot like my bone spears, but then I would deplete like my resource again, so that wouldn't actually work. I'd have to like kind of do this, but it feels like a bit extra, right? But it would bring us up to 177 resource, which is kind of nice. Does CDR apply to the potion cooldown? No. We don't have any CDR right now, I think. Nope. But the cooldown here, it says, then your healing potion becomes disabled for 5 seconds. So this is not a cooldown. It becomes disabled. Okay? So we can only use the power every 5 seconds, but that's fine because the power itself lasts for 3.5 seconds. My thought would be right now, how do we just do more damage consistently, right? We need the Soul Rift, so we want the Soul Rift up permanently. That's a good thing. Soul Rift up permanently would work. We have the Corpse Explosion. What we could do is you could play the aspect of Blood Mist exploding corpses. Because it would be kind of fun to do that. It wouldn't hurt, right? Let's finish the Paragon board for now. Again, I'm not really happy with the middle part here, but we'll see. So you need to get the Wither board, because Wither says your corruption effects have a chance to deal bonus damage. Now, guess what my corruption effects are, Chad? What are we doing here? I mean, we're using a shadow damage over time laser beam, huh? I would say that counts as a pretty good corruption effect in my books. We're going to boost all the corrupt damage that we have. We're going to get ourselves all the intelligence that you can get. Because with all this intelligence, and this is actually where it gets like a little bit out of hand, in my opinion. Because if I put in the darkness glyph, look at that. Like you can get all this in, right? All this in to boost the darkness glyph. And we can get so much in this board. Like this is alone 100 int for another 200 shadow damage plus. It's only plus, but with the power, if we're looking here, we're sitting at 5 million damage right now. Okay. And if I tend to put the glyph out, it's just like 3 point, you know, the additive multiplier is just going through the roof with all of this. Kind of incredible. And then we can go for the frailty board. Because cursed enemies take 10% increased damage from you and your minions. This bonus increased by 40%, right? So that's great. And we can finally go in from this side to actually increase our shadow damage and our corruption damage. It's plenty illegal. I'm going to learn half as much about making builds. Well, I spend like way too many hours with this game. So, I mean, we're sitting at thousands of hours. So, yay. That helps when you're making builds. I'm not sure which glyph I want to play here. Because, so I need to put in the Scorch glyph in another intelligence board. And for this, I actually have to open Mobalytics for a second. Because if you're going to make a build, right? Like here. You can check which board has which stat. So if I'm, for example, this is a 105 intelligence board. Cool. Then we had the Wither board. And Wither is also 110 intelligence possible. Blood Baguettes is 90. Flash Eater is 110. We could do Flash Eater for int. Son of Death is 110 too. What is Frailty? Frailty has... See, only 90. Frailty is better for Dex or Willpower. But we don't have any Dex or Willpower glyph that we need. So we have Abyssal, but that's non-physical damage. Kind of works, right? Blood Drinker, we could have Control. We could have Desecration, but Desecration is not really doing things for us. We are going to take Scourge, which is obvious because Scourge does give you more shadow damage, more corruption damage, so that's insane. Sacrificial was damage with no minions. Undaunted was, well, that's willpower. Could do territorial for close enemies, but we're not doing close enemies really. So I guess right now we'd be something with Amplify. We'd probably Amplify. Let's just do that. Simple as it goes. So that is Amplify, which gives us more damage. Good. Now we're going to go down into the, what did I say? Flash Eater board. Because Flash Eater was an intelligence-based board. So if we take all the int available in this, then we can put in the Scorch glyph. And with all these glyphs active, we would suddenly be sitting at... 10 million damage base. Right? So now we activate everything. We explode the corpses. We get the more here. So we have the maximum resistance. All of it happening together. The curse is happening. Then we drink our potion. And that's, again, the 22 billion. And we're going. So 12 billion, 20 billion to 20 billion. We do it again. Stack it up. Drink the potion. 14 billion, 15 billion. Okay, let's hit some more. Drink this to improve our damage again. 17 billion. 50 billion, we did it. 50 billion again. So like the damage over time is just going nutty, right? 76 billion, chat. We're almost at 100 billion. We're going places. You understand? So that's going very good. You mean Lilith Egg instead of Endariel's Flaming Skull? We wanted to check if the Flaming Skull was actually working. What did it say again? Burning enemies takes more damage. After your main boss part, all other attacks burn enemies. We never figured out if that burning damage actually increases the damage vastly. I mean, they're burning, so it should definitely work. Okay, let me check how much. I don't have enough armor. Let me boost my armor because I wanted to walk into a dungeon and try out things because I need to see how much my lucky hit chance is doing because that's a bit of a problem right now. We have like no cooldown reduction, nothing. I mean, we're also like running around very not super boosted. So what I would need is I would need armor. So I can reroll the dodge chance into armor right now.
I can take common, turn it special.
Dodge chance can be rerolled into until I hit armor. Here we go. Then we can also change our sacrifice bonuses because this can be changed to more shadow damage over time. This is damage to vulnerable enemies, but we need to make enemies actually vulnerable, right? And this is critical strike damage, but it doesn't do anything because we're not critting. So I need to get 20% more life. 20% more life is a bit sad, I'll say it, because we don't actually need it. Yeah. Where's my skulls? So I was thinking about playing the corpse explosion aspect. Right now we have enemies that are cursed take more shadow damage. That works. We have you deal 55. We were not sure about our key passive because the key passive is a bit of a problem. Since we can't play Ossified Essence because your bone skills deal more damage makes no sense. But also the Shadow Blight key passive doesn't make sense because that just gives us Shadow Blight stacking damage. But what for, right? So this actually doesn't really work very much. And then the Rathma's Vigor doesn't work, so we kind of have to play Affliction, which says vulnerable, crowd-controlled, or corrupting enemies are afflicted take 15% increased damage. Huh. But that's just a 15% damage increase. That's kind of like, fucks. That's not good. So it's like silly 15% damage increase, or having like the Shadow Blight key passive at least give us here like a 55% bonus damage multiplier. Might be better at times, but I don't know. We have Blood Mist. Which one do we want to play? We got Blood-Soaked Aspect, which has the Desecrated Ground. You have the Explosive Mist. So we could just play Explosive Mist technically on the boots. That wouldn't actually hurt too much. That would at least give me something to do. We got the helmet to improve.
Father bless. What do you need?
We need to give it a defensive. Utility needs to be Soul Rift duration, right? Like, I don't see anything else that makes sense. You need Soul Rift duration to just get more Soul Rift. So let's try to get this. Please don't you ruin my day here. Thank you. Oh, that's the lowest possible. That's the lowest possible. Yay. I hate you. Let's give it total armor too. Oops, I gave it resistance instead of total armor. I'll take dodge chance, but I just need something. Okay, that's total armor. And then we could temper this at least a little bit. Congratulations. We get Soul Rift duration out of this. Then we could put Soul Rift duration on the pans if we wouldn't actually play different pans, right? Because that's always the plan. Would we play different unique pans potentially? How do you like the PDR? Right now, I have a good amount of fun with trying to make boss powers go OP. And I think that's going to be what Season 8 is. Season 8 is not like, how do I make my build OP? Season 8 is not going to be how do I, like, you know, how do I increase my duck size? It's all going to be about, like, how do I make my boss powers do more damage? So right now, Soul Rift duration is up. We have the Soul Rift duration to 15 seconds. But we still have a 41-second cooldown. So I would probably like to use runes to reduce the cooldown further. I mean, step number 1, we're going to get ourselves here amethysts, because that is damage over time, right? So that comes on the weapon. Now the problem is, what do we temper on a weapon? Because we have offensive would be darkness damage. Or corrupting damage. One of the two, right? Not much. Darkness or corrupting damage, great. Because that 150% multiplier now gets us up to even more. Like, we're sitting at nice values, so that's amazing. But what for a weapon temper do you do? Right? Because we chance for double damage, chance for... all of these don't do anything for us. Right? Reap to hit twice, chance for corpse explosion to... none of this is useful. I mean, the best we have is chance for Soul Rift to deal double damage. But as you can see, there's nothing. So maybe we would have to get Titan's Fall, Finality, or Fueled by Death. Because Titan's Fall would be when we use... this would be when we use our ultimate skill. We get more damage. Titan's Fall would be more damage while fortified to elites. So one of these probably, because I don't see another one that that works out, right? Titan's Fall. Well, let's just take that. Affliction double. No, Affliction is for other things. Okay, let me go for Torment 4 now and see how much damage we do to a Torment 4 boss. Because I've been operating in Torment 3 currently. Mainly for the reason that Torment 3 is just a good loading stone for most things. Because Torment 4 is like overbearing. Our boss power is that powerful, Zoltan. Well, my boss power does 50 billion damage. And that's actually not strong, because there are other boss powers that do more damage. Okay. I'm invisible! Look at me, Mom! I'm the chosen one! So this would be now a Torment 4 boss, highest HP, everything. We activate this, we throw that. We drink a potion. Ho ho, ladies and gentlemen! Okay, let me teleport to Bile. I am the chosen one! Okay, that's working, chat. And this is only one scheme, one scam I'm trying to do. There is actually more I'm trying out. So my ultimate plan, I wanted to use Urivar's Lot Bombs. And we're gonna... do you want to try out the Blood Surge build? Because someone asked me, can we use Blood Surge this season? So maybe a core skill scam spam build might actually work together with Gregoire's Lightning Square and the Belial's Ibeam for 30% overpowered damage increase. I'm not sure if it does work, but it could work. Okay, Seedful Altar.
You face the Lord of Lies.
Yeah, I wanted to say, why are you so small, bruh?
Like the insects you are.
Okay, we prepare. Oh. I win! I'm the chosen one! Okay, let's go into a pit. Because we need to see the pit performance, right? With how long does my Soul Rift hold? How do we reduce the Soul Rift duration? That kind of stuff. What would you say is the best way to reduce the cooldown? I know there's runes for the ultimate skill cooldown. So let's check these out for a second before we go in. Because we have some lucky hit cooldown reduction, obviously, but it's not really much. So what we would have to do is... yeah, please don't crash. Thank you. Ultimate cooldown reduction. So we have reduce your active ultimate cooldown by 1 second, but it requires 100 offering. Okay, how do we get 100 offering? What would this need us to do? Ultimate? With Igni? We could do Igni. But... Bach is for running, right? Bach might be better because we're consistently running around. And I am going to be zooming around, so we could also increase my mobility here, movement speed. And my movement speed is... Oh, okay, chat, listen. You forget something. We're playing... For each darkness skill in your action bar, gain 18% increased movement speed and 18% damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we're actually, surprisingly or unsurprisingly, sitting at like a good amount of movement speed already, just by existing, right? that did work out. Okay, let's do a... Oh wow, not all pit tiers are unlocked. Can I... Wait, what? Like, let me just go and unlock them. Is season out yet? End of April. Season 8 is coming. And today is the day where we just play around with everything that's possible. We're going to do multiple builds and we're going to try out what we can do. Progression. Unlock all torment tiers. Complete. Oh, they don't have pit tiers. I hate you so much, Blizzard. There's no reason to not do that, but hey, let's just make my life harder. Can you use Heart of the Blessed? No. What you could do is, easy, come closer. We go for the potion vendor. And you can craft yourself a potion of resourcefulness. This one. Because this is another 25 maximum resource. 25 maximum resource in our case, just for you to understand, due to our power, guys. We get 3.4% more damage per point of resource if we cast our ulti. So 3.4 times 25. That's another 85% multiplicative more damage. Not additive, multiplicative more damage. 85% just by drinking a potion. So what we're going to do is we're going to activate this, and then we're going to drink. Oh, my lord. I mean, this was obviously meant to always be this easy because it's a pit 20. So we're going to push up pit tiers now really quick now. Let's do this. It's pit 20, chat. It's pit 20. Don't look at this. We need more cooldown reduction. It's not enough. Make this build, great job. I mean, so far, this is exactly the fun I was looking for when I'm gonna play boss powers. Because if we already have a season of boss powers, then things like these need to be possible, right? But let's push higher into the pit. So we're gonna take like the next 20 minutes to just like zoom upwards in the pit that we get to levels where it's actually meaningful. Because this is again is a pit 20. It's like nothing. But if we can do it, if we can run it already in a minute, that's gonna be helpful because then we can just faster go through the pit. And unlock all the tiers just a little bit quicker. That should be nice. Keep in mind, you can only use the Ibeam every 5 seconds. Because your potion cooldown. And the main issue is that the Ibeam does not do lucky hit. So you would have to do other skills in between to like lucky hit and stuff like that. To pretty much have things... working. What build are you running? We're running a Belial's Ibeam build. Let's go out. This is the Ibeam build. TBX just came in. You press potion, purple Ibeams kill everything. Yes, that is exactly what's happening. We press potion and everything dies. Because the purple Ibeam does billions of damage. What do you think about the new Necro Sword for minions? It's completely useless because they ruined Army of the Dead. So the new Necro Sword would have been good if Army of the Dead wouldn't be gutted. But Blizzard felt like boss powers were... Blizzard did a Blizzard again. So we had one season where ultimates were now fun and good. And Blizzard was like, oh man, like we can't have that, right? Those ultimates, they're a little bit too good. So what we're gonna do is, like, the solution for the ultimates being too good, we're just gonna make all of them terrible. So now, like, due to the damage cap they actually put on the ultimates, you can completely forget making ultimate scaling builds. And the sad part is that they for some reason gutted the ultimate scaling builds, but the Barbarian Earthquake build that was OP last season already, it is just completely untouched. I mean, sure, they made some of the multipliers that were over-multiplying less over-multiplying, but apart from that, like, the build is untouched and still just going strong. So, like, make it make sense sometimes, you know? Make it make sense. I mean, we are in the creator Discord are very vocal about this. Like, let ultimate powers or let ultimates on the characters be good. Because, well, what do we have ultimates for? Right now, we're back to the position of ultimates being buff bots in most cases. Like, all the Necromancer ultimates are useless again. Bloodwave is useless. It was OP. Now it's completely useless. And the only one that's good again is Soul Rift. They removed one whole multiplier. Yes, they removed one whole multiplier, and yet still, Earthquakes can do billions of damage. Right? And congratulations on that multiplier removal. I mean, like, if they nerf the ultimates to buff the, like, because of the boss powers, what happens in Season 9? Like, look me in the eyes, chat. Tell me they made the ultimates weaker because of the boss powers. I dare you. Tell it to my face. And then answer what's happens in Season 9. Because then we don't have boss powers anymore. So, and the ultimates are still nerfed. Right? So that's like the issue with the thinking there. Sure, the boss powers are going to be great. The problem right now is I'm not making a build. Okay, so this is not a build, chat. Like, I am using a lot of powers to just boost my boss power. All my aspects I have are just boosting my boss power. My actual core skill here, my bone spear is just used to gain some more essence, which also is actually not too useful, but still does some things, right? But yeah, like, I mean, my damage is only my Ibeam. If you take the Ibeam away, that's it, Joe ever. And the part is, before this actually works, right, I need to find a way to kill Bile once to get his Ibeam. Because this build only works as soon as I have Bile killed. By the way, we never figured out if Bile is actually the right pronunciation, but I have settled for it. I'm sorry. If anyone takes offense, fuck you. Thank you. Sincerely yours, Ponyhop. Fuck you. Dankeschön. I wonder if our lucky hit chance is going to be working in higher pit tiers. Okay, right now we take 2 minutes per pit tier. That's really useful because we're trying to push to pit 1890 really quick. The only thing I wanted for them to leave my Bloodwave alone. Yeah, like, they saw Bloodwave was OP and they gutted every other ulti. Every other ulti. Good, chat. This is now pit 35, so we're almost in Torment 4 pits. And from that point on, we can see how powerful the build really is, or how powerful the boss powers really are. I can already kill Torment 4 bosses super easy, so that's nice. That's exactly what you want to see, because no one wants to struggle farming these. But, like, obviously the build wouldn't be as strong in the beginning, because you wouldn't have 300 Paragon points, right? Now that being said, look at my gear, chat. None of my gear's master worked, right? None of my gear's master worked. I haven't actually tempered all my gear. I'm not looking for good, like, affixes or anything. Like, so I don't have damage over time on my stuff. I have, like, attack speed and things. So this is somewhat operating stronger than it technically would be, but also weaker than it could be. So we like, I think the upper damage potential for what we're doing right now could be somewhere around 200 to 300 billion with the Ibeam. Like, the highest we've seen so far was 75 billion if all my multipliers are multiplying, but I'm missing so much additive damage that then gets multiplied up further more that I think, like, maybe 200 billion is a thing. Not trillions, but 200 billion could be a thing. How do you get the points to upgrade the boss powers? You have to do the seasonal zones, and that is currently, like, bullshit. Because in one run of a seasonal zone, you get around 200 to 300 spectral ash. Okay. Nah, I think it's more like 150 spectral ash. But I'll later need 500 spectral ash for a level. So I kind of need around like 5,000 or 8,000 spectral ash to upgrade a boss power fully. While I only get 150 per apparition. Which means, like, I'll have to do how many apparitions to get that? And each apparition takes at least 15 minutes or so to completely finish. So, yeah. Blizzard might be at it again with having things not be making too much sense. It's going to be the most optimal build for Necker in Season 8. Anything that works with a boss power, Starboy. You can certainly still play Bloodwave. Bloodwave still works. Even in tier 4. Okay? We tried it out. It's just not crazy anymore. Maybe Bone Spirit is actually back. It could be a thing. I wish there was a way to automatically drink potions to force potion drinking. You know, whenever you drop below XXX HP or so, whenever you take damage, drink a potion. It would help to automatize this build even further. Oh, there, you didn't die, you nerds. Blizzard's own way of making endgame is making the way to endgame longer instead of new endgame. Like, I wish this obviously was a joke comment, but sadly that is the reality of what they did. Yes. This season. And I'm saying that as someone who likes Diablo. Like, right? Like, I might come along as a Diablo hater because I'm just stating what's happening in the game without like cushioning it. But yeah, that's kind of like what they did. There's no future anymore for Diablo 4. Well, so my friend, I still enjoy playing Diablo 4. Even as the casual player. I enjoy getting a character to 60 and then again playing around with the boss powers. Right now, my goal for Season 8 would be make one OP boss power build with every class. Right? That would be my goal. That would be how I derive joy out of this game. And then when I have made one OP boss power build with every single class, I'm done for this season. And that's it. Now, you might not like this personally, and you might not get joy from this personally, and that's okay. I'm not asking you to share the same joy I do with things. But that's how I get a boner, right? By shooting out my I-beams and destroying everything. And then when I play the Barbarian, I'm going to burn everything to the ground. And when I play a rogue, I'm trying to actually get Urivar's lob bombs to go crazy. So don't worry. We're going to do some things. You have created a link for this build? No, but you know. You can also only do it on the test realm right now. But as soon as we're done with the stream today, I will actually end the stream like an hour earlier or so. I'm going to create a YouTube video with exactly all the findings we have had from today. Don't worry, chat. We're currently just pushing the pit, and then we're going to make more builds. Because I have one hero power that makes me super excited. And the hero power is called Urivar's Lob Bombs. Now, I have a question to you. Urivar's Lob Bombs works with ultimate skill spam. So how do I spam my ultimate skill the best? What would be the easiest way to spam an ultimate skill? Like it will only work if I'm able to like go pew, 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 pew with the ultimate. So which class would you think is the most optimal to do for that? Sorg? But does Sorg really spam ultimate red fire? Sure, you could do snake spam. Yeah, you could do snake spam. That's not wrong. I was thinking about trying Rogue because Rogue could do Rain of Arrows spam. Right? Like with Rogue, you can do Death Trap or Rain of Arrows spam. One of the two. Both work really well. So that would work. Tim, thank you for the subscription and support. Tim, good to see you there. Pleasure, sir. Thank you for the brand new Prime sub. I get 30 to 50 billion cappuccino with which power are you using for that? I think like you use the what was it called again? Andariel's Fire Skull, right? We tried Sword. No, so far we've only tried Necro because I'm a Necro lover and I wanted to see what shadow damage over time can do, right? Shadow damage over time. Unnamed hero, good to see you there. Unnamed hero, we're almost there. Just one more, and we're in tier 4 chat. One more. So, by the way, let me show you. My hero power I want to use. Here it goes. Urivar's Lob Bombs. Okay? After you cast an ultimate skill, lob 4 bombs that deal 250,000 damage and reduce your ultimate skill cooldown by 5 seconds. Huh. If we now manage to also deplete our resource while doing this, right, and get that insane multiplier, we would just have to find an ultimate that's spammable. And then we're good to go. Banderis, thank you for the subscription and support. Banderis, howdy. So many people. Thank you very much, John. Happy to see so many on Twitch and the YouTube enjoy the Diablo still. Yesterday, by the way, we played the Titan Quest 2 playtest. High recommendation to check that out. You can still sign up on the Epic Game Stores for it. That was really cool as well. Another ARPG, even more ARPGs. Rogue Death Trap. Yeah, I was thinking about Rogue Death Trap, but we get to check what Urivar's Lob Bombs do for damage. For example, this Ibeam is corruption damage. Now, who does corruption damage, guys? Who does corruption damage over time? Well, surprised. It's your boy, the Necromancer. Your boy, the Necromancer, does corruption damage. Corruption is, by the way, shadow damage. No one else does it. You already tried Death Trap with Scoundrels and Beastfall boots, with the Urivar's Lob Bombs or without, Max? Okay, with the Lob Bombs. That's great to know. Thank you. Then you'll be my source of information. I mean, if you have a max roll planner, just send it over. Check it out. When the kite string pops. Thank you for your subscription. That is not a funny username. That's a tragic accident. What I find very funny about this build right now is how we really have nothing else going on. Like, we're just doing the shadow damage. Okay, Chad. Torment 4. We have arrived. So this is now the hardest difficulty, the most HP, everything. Right? What can we do? Things are definitely dying less fast now. So you notice it. It's not all instant dying. Might actually like finally have a reason to use my other skills. We still need more cooldown reduction. Like I have movement speed into cooldown reduction right now on the ulti and it's somewhat working. But not enough. So I think I need to go for ultimate cooldown reduction tempers. Yep, that would probably work. Because you want your ulti to always be active. And it's like the only way how I can be safe. Rogue also a source of shadow damage outputter? Yes, but the Rogue doesn't have the source of I don't like, if I remember correctly, the Rogue doesn't have the glyphs to really make shadow damage as strong as Necro. Like with the Darkness and the Scorch glyph, Necro really goes crazy. I mean, Darkness and Scorch, they're just like two insane scalers. And that's really why I wanted to do it here. And we have a key passive. So our key passive says that our darkness skills, our darkness damage, has a chance to deal double damage. Actually, triple damage almost. So that's kind of like very useful. And that's what makes Necro like the prime candidate for this. Even though I don't know if the Ibeam actually works with Wither correctly, I just assume it does. Like I'm gonna have Macro Boy test that for me. I'll just, at this point, I'll just assume it does, but I'm also not willing to do the hardcore investigation into it if it does. It's like, this should work. We do damage. Come on. Yeah, so that's still, everything is fine. Can Barb run this? Well, like Barb with this power, Barb can do other things, Steve. Barb doesn't have shadow damage over time. Come with me. What does Barb have? Barb has fire damage. A lot of fire damage. And with the fire damage, you could do the Harbinger of Hatred's volley. That does fire damage. And you could do the Andariel's Flaming Skull does fire damage as well. Urivar's lob bombs do fire damage too. Shit. If Urivar's lob bombs do fire damage, then it's probably best to do it on... Oh, you could do it on Meteor Sorg, actually. Huh. Right? I mean, I could do Urivar's lob bomb and then I do a Meteor Sorg and just walk into things. Like, why not? That's a pit 60. We're still going. Now, again, keep in mind, if you were here at the pit 60 with this hero power, like, you wouldn't be this strong at the current level, but you would, like, slowly work your way up to the pit 60. So this is only strong now. We need to test, like, technically, this needs to be able to clear pit 100. It just does billions of damage. Like the crazy part is it's shadow damage over time, and it does billions of damage though. So that means it's not like one hit. It's like take. How easy it is to get Bile power? You can do it in Torment 1. So the good thing about all the powers is you rush level 60. On level 60, you just kill every tormented boss, and that's super simple. So let's say you're playing Minion Necromancer. Minion Necromancer can just kill every Torment 1 boss without a single problem. Like, Minion Necro is just strong out of the house, right? Like just standard, powerful. And then with Minion Necro, you just kill pretty much every boss. Great. And then you have all the powers. Now, the only thing that's missing is you farming the apparitions to boost your hero powers level-wise, and then you just need to get all the aspects and everything rolling, and you're going crazy. Opinion on Poison Spiritborn. There's actually, like, I think Poison Spiritborn could work, Nick. So I think, like, if I look at all the boss powers, their intention is that each class has at least one OP boss power build. Because we have a Poison boss power, we have a Shadow boss power, we have a Bleeding boss power, we have the Fire boss power and an Ice boss power. So you can make with each respective class something. There is a lightning damage boss power, so technically Storm Druid should be a thing, right? I mean, if I was a druid, I would probably try to go for lightning damage and then try to make the lightning boss power work. Every class should have one. I obviously lack personally the build skills to make it for every class. For Necro, it was easy. For the other classes, I'll have to do some deep dives. Can we put these runes on the Barb build? It's not runes, my friend. This is the boss powers. But you would put different boss powers on the Barb build. You wouldn't use this. This would be a mistake on the Barb build. Okay. Barb has better stuff. It's not this. Okay, this is pit 65. I mean, so far we're still doing 2 minutes per pit, right? Doesn't really get much slower. My only issue is that my cooldown reduction, I need more on the gear. All right, it's fun. Like you might think this is not fun, but it is fun. You would say, how is this fun? Well, you know what? It pretty much is. Like, if you know how Necromancer plays, being able to actually zoom through things and just leave it dead without having to stay inside of enemies, because Necromancer doesn't have unstoppable, right? So if you usually end up with Necro like walking into things and then you get stunned and staggered and like then you get frozen and feared and you're just like fighting for survival, right? You're fighting to not have that happen to you consistently, but the whole world is just like get fucked, and you're just like, oh, baby, mom, I don't want to get. Necromancer's wet dream. Right? Oh, the boss chat, the boss is resisting police brutality. Gotta activate the boost. I mean, he was literally resisting police brutality. We can't have that. Now the crazy part, ladies and gentlemen, come closer. What's the crazy part? We're currently playing a helmet that has a maximum resource, okay? But you can actually have maximum resource as a greater affix, okay? Every point of maximum resource is 3.4% more damage. So if I have this as a greater affix and masterworked, I could have a total of 35 maximum resource times 3.4. 34 times 3. Oh, Jesus Christ. 3.4. So my helmet would give me 115% multiplicative bonus damage. Because why not? Let me take my ring for now. Resource. And we're going to go for ultimate cooldown reduction. If I can get it. If I can get it. Yeah, ultimate cooldown reduct. As I said, ultimate cooldown reduct. Thank you. And offensive wise, you could go for, again, corruption or darkness damage. Right? And then the other ring would also get ultimate cooldown reduction on the first try. On the first try. On the first try. Thank you. And we could get corruption damage. So just like to add a bit more spunk to it, right? Now we're, instead of 41 seconds at 33 seconds. That makes a difference. And that's like not with like actual upgraded, right? So we could upgrade this. So, and we could upgrade this. We could actually upgrade this to boost that one further too. Because that is Reaper's Pursuit. When does it go for Reaper's Pursuit 6? There's 7. Huh. So now we're suddenly sitting at 32, and our Reaper's Pursuit is at 7 ranks. And Reaper's Pursuit 7 ranks says 22% increased movement speed and more damage for each darkness skill, which we have. So now that's pit 17. You already see my P. Robo, I'm stronger than I would be. So Robo, this is the test server. On the test server, you can unlock everything. So I have all my glyphs to 100 already. Okay. And I have all my, I have everything upgraded pretty much. But I wouldn't have this all upgraded at this point. So what's the goal of climbing further torment tiers? To actually be able to upgrade things to this point, to be able to do this. So you would be weaker and you would be then struggling into this content pretty much. See, like right now, pit 70 is already vastly, I mean, I say harder, but it's more like that things are resisting and actually surviving my blasts. I'm getting to the point where I actually have to use my abilities, which is kind of funny. Okay, pit 17. And I'm already happy that we just kill the tormented bosses, because again, that's the goal this season. Gotta be able to kill torment 4 bosses. Everything else in the pit doesn't matter. Sethba, nice build, thank you. I'm happy. I want to like show, like, my goal is 3 builds. Okay, at the end of the day, guys, I want 3 builds. That means we need all your brainstorming power. Sorry that we have been pushing the pit so far. I hope this is not boring to you, but we needed to at least get to pit 70, 80 right now with this build, to then be able to test the other builds, right? So if we have like I think we're gonna push towards pit 80 now, maybe 90, and then we can like benchmark the other builds that we're going to make. But like we first gotta get here, right, with build number 1. And this is not even, again, optimized. This is probably me just having thrown together a bunch of stuff, and you can go further. We're 200 resource. That's good. 200 resource means currently 640% more damage, chan. Okay, see, this boss has now billions of HP. So we are going to actually fight this boss. Okay, I lied. I lied. I'm sorry. Tried to make it seem like more exciting than I did in the beginning. Checo has resources as well. Checo could be good for the cooldown reduction. You don't really need the rings into anything. See, right now, pit 75, like the standard rebel here, they're somewhat surviving. So you need to look out that you actually get your soul rift always up. If we're not having the soul rift up, then we are vulnerable, right? Without soul rift, no barrier. And that means we have a chance that we could die. Still strong enough to not be unduly worried, but it's getting weaker. Like if I would have to think about like pushing all the way to pit 100, I wouldn't see that happening. And obviously, like right now, my glyphs would be way lower level. That's already intriguing. What about minions? A shadow damage could be good. Could be good for what? I mean, technically, you could use minions to have more essence, because you could get 10 more essence per minion. So if you would use this, and if you would summon all 11 minions, you could get, well, another 120 essence plus, which is then 120 essence times 340%. It's actually not bad of a thought to technically do this. But then you would also have to like take care of minions that like you would have to invest into a minion board to not have them die. But the minions would not be any kind of damage dealers. They would just literally exist to exist, right? I mean, it could be a worthy thought, though. Because the damage would be substantial. That you're actually multiplying upwards. But you would also have to have the skeleton skill then in your skill bar. And if you have the skeleton skill in your skill bar, that's not so good. This was the slowest we've done a dungeon so far, Chad. 3 minutes. Damn son, we're slowing down. Okay, let's do everything. Okay, Chad, the full package. Good. Oh no, she's so tough. Which boss skill is the purple stuff? Oh, for the people that just joined, we're playing currently Belial's Ibeam, together with Avarice Explosive Ore, Varshan's Life Steal, and also Endariel's Flaming Skull. That all together adds some really nasty damage over time. Shebang bang. We get the Shadowblight Key passive stacking together with Blood Mist, Desecrated Ground. We actually don't need the Blood Mist Desecrated Ground. I think I'm going to keep that. Oh, as you said, for probably, what was it called again? Minions. You're right. We can probably use Great Feast. But it would suck some essence away, so I don't know if I would like that.
Bright aura. Brighter soul.
Okay, we are at 80, Chan. Pit 80. And right now, we have enough time spare to do things. Look. Like now you can see it. We're doing like billions of damage. So the Ibeam is doing like 20, 30, 50 billions of damage, right? And it's damage over time. It's like take. But the actual enemies are right now like resisting. So you might say this is maybe OP due to the damage that we're dealing. But on the other hand, if I wasn't dealing this damage, what am I going to do? Like, I need this damage to be able to do this. Like, this is only a pit 80. If I wasn't doing 50 billion damage with my Belial's Ibeam, then congratulations, how am I actually going to kill a single dude, right? I mean, sure, I'm ticking for billions, but I need to tick for billions. If we wouldn't do that, well, there wouldn't be anyone dying. Max pit is still 150, which is unreachable this season unless you find like an absolute power glitch. So they certainly overtuned the pit. They made it 20% stronger for each consecutive pit tier. And that 20% multiplier might just be a little bit too much. Right now, I would humbly say that a 10% multiplier would be better, if not only a 5% multiplier. Because they just overtuned it. Like, obviously, overtuning is better than undertuning. So, like, the changes are good for now for the test server to test how brutal it is, right? To see, like, truly how atrocious have things gotten. But it shouldn't stay that way for the life release. Because it's just too much. Like, right now, if I wasn't, like, having my character fully boosted by the PDR, the maximum level that my glyphs would have at this point are around level 60, 70. But I already have level 100 glyphs, and I can do this with level 100 glyphs, right? So there's a tons more damage that we're actually getting now. So yeah, I would do significantly less damage if I wasn't fully boosted. So that makes like pit 150 an absolute impossible thing. Like, I don't think things have to clear pit 150, that being said. But it would still be nice to, like, be able to get pit 100, because pit 100 is the pit you want to do to level up your glyphs to 100. Right? What do you think about Titan Quest 2? It's shaping up to be really good. I had absolute joy yesterday with Titan Quest 2. So, GG, big banger. I can't wait for that one to release into early access to have, like, more games to play. I mean, right now, like, as much as I like Path of Exile 2, as much as I like Diablo, both games have shown that there are phases where there's absolutely nothing to do. I mean, right now, technically March is a month where I have 3 weeks where I have nothing to do, chat. There's no update in any of the games that I like playing. There's nothing technically for me to play, cover, or make content on. So having another game to make content on will only just make me happy, right? The first boss where we had to use 3 times our old team. Ladies and gentlemen, 3 times before we could get him down. So pit 80. Should we do another build or push deeper? Should we try to get to pit 90? What do you want to see? Two more attempts to go deeper, and then we make another build, and we play around with more powers. Taking votes right now. Okay, we're gonna do a bit deeper. I mean, like, at least get to 90, right? 100 is unreasonable, but 90 should be a thing. Oh, 85, 85, ooh. Like, what, one Ibeam is not enough to take the mobs out anymore, chat, so I need to go for triple Ibeam. This is, oh, wow. This is something. Look how many Ibeams I needed to take out a pack of mobs here. That's slowly getting. This is probably my biggest complaint about the pit increase. Because right now, as you might have seen in the last hour of me playing the pit, it's been the same, right? I mean, my playstyle hasn't changed. I've done the exact same thing. I've spammed my potion. I have killed these things. Oh, there was 115 billion. Ladies and gentlemen, I saw it. I'm not blind. So it is certainly possible. Yeah, that they made now the pit harder, but the problem is they didn't change anything about the pit, right? So it's like now again more difficult. I think I just saw 134 billion, if I'm not mistaken. It's hard to see in all of this. If you see a high billion, please raise your hand. Season 8 is starting end of April. You still have to wait a significant time before it begins. And be happy that you have to wait. Because if this was the release state, it would be a bad state to release that in. I mean, right now, the creators, like, I have to give this to the creators, chat. So we have some Diablo creators who are pumping out videos like crazy. Rob, for example. And then we have also creators who are really just deep diving the game. Like they're log in daily. They try to break things. They try out stuff. They really go there. I'm a bit in the middle, right? I just make fun, interesting videos without like going too deep into the matters sometimes of like really sitting hours at a target dummy and looking for every 5% of damage or what ability is bugged or not. Just want to have fun, pretty much. They're really like, we have a lot of Diablo creators who like benchmark the game pretty much for Diablo unpaid. And Seasons would definitely launch worse without these people. See, that's what I'm trying to tell you right now. So Seasons would launch certainly worse without these creators doing that. Shout out to the stat squishing boys. Okay, 85 is still smooth. Still smooth, Chan. Yeah, I guess 90 is definitely possible. What do you think to the changes of the Frostburn glove aspect? I haven't actually checked it out. Could you TLDR me? I mean, all these crowd control possible thingies get obviously nerfed because Blizzard doesn't want to have so much random crowd control because it was staggering their bosses and they were sad because you could just stagger bosses. Too much. Ibeam goes through walls. Ibeam is so fun. Like, actually, Ibeam goes through walls, by the way, so I can stand, like, here and Ibeam these guys down there. Very useful. Wait, I think I went in a circle. It's bad. Trying to... 88 billion. I saw it, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so hundreds of billions is possible. I want to do 200s of billions, though. At that point, I gotta, like, improve the build further. But yeah, the boss powers need to be OP, because there's not a single Necromancer skill anymore that does 200s of billions. Right, ladies and gentlemen? There is not a single Necromancer build anymore that does this much damage. So what are we gonna do? What if boss powers wouldn't be this crazy? What then? Okay, 85 player, GG. Love this build. Can you link? There's no link. We just made it. Linus. We just made the build. I can give you a quick run through over what we're doing. We're using the Belial's Ibeam with the average explosive ore, Varshan's Lifesteal, and Dariel's Flaming Skull. Then we currently get more shadow damage from sacrificing our warriors. We get more vulnerable damage, but I think it would be better to actually get 20 more essence because more vulnerable damage is 20% more damage. Whereas getting 20 more essence is 20 times 3.4 on cast, so that's actually better. And then we get 20% more life. In our abilities, we're pretty much boosting everything shadow related here with the Reaper's Pursuit and stuff to just weasel out as much damage as possible. And then we have 4 shadow skills. So the Reaper's Pursuit is actually working. And on the Paragon board, we've tried to get more with the Flash Eater and the Wither plus Bone Graft and Frailty, more damage. Wither should technically allow our skill to triple its damage because it says your corrupting effects have a chance to deal more damage. And it's not actually skilled, so the corrupting effect should be then the Belial's Ibeam. That together is played with the Eben Piercer for Reaper's Pursuit, 7 rings, and then we got Cursed Aura on more essence, Shroud of False Death. We're currently playing Creeping Death together with Blighted and Great Feast. Also the No Aspect at all and Blood Mist on the Aspect of the Damned for more shadow damage on cursed enemies. This is currently what we're doing. I'm going to save this build, by the way. Here, Armory, empty, save. Rename into Ibeam, Beam. Ibeam, Beam. Now, my problem is I can't make Urivar's Lob Bombs work on the Necromancer. The tops thing you could do is Lilith Winds of Haste. We could maybe do the Lightning Square again with the Ibeam, but the Lightning Square is hard to scale because if you go all the way up right now, so the after you cast a core skill, lightning tiles outward for 1.2 seconds, dealing lightning damage per strike. Now, I couldn't scale the lightning damage, but I could scale the crit damage, correct? So, like, you remember a
I appreciate.
Blood Surge build. So if you do a Blood Surge build, you spam your skill, right? You spam your and you're pretty much trying to overwhelm your opponent here. That's like Blood Surge, right? So you have like Blood Surge, Blood Surge, Blood Surge, Blood Surge, Blood Surge. So you would, on top of the Blood Surge, now have lightning tiles go out. But would lightning tiles really go all the way up to... I don't see them going up damage-wise far enough to make this worth it, right? You could do Lilith Winds of Haste, technically, to add bonus damage to this. But same here. So right now, I kind of want to do Urivar's Lob Bombs, but I only see this working on Sorg. I don't remember my Meteor Sorg. Where's my Meteor Sorg? I had a Season 7 Meteor Sorg that was spamming Meteor. And then going for Inferno. Where is my Harlequin Crest? And I guess for this build, we could technically put the Harlequin Crest into the helmet. And then you could also swap out the pants to have the aura. So with the Harlequin Crest, another 20% cooldown reduction on the Soul Rift and 4 more ranks. That would certainly work. Sounds like that would all work with Shadow Imbuement. If you make yourself a rogue. So first and foremost, you can't Shadow Imbue the Ibeam itself. Because the Ibeam isn't a skill or anything, so it can't be Shadow Imbued. So like if you go for a rogue now... Ibeam rogue. So we go for that. And then we're going to boost the character here. Apply all boosts. Warning. Good. So that's a full character boost. It's now level 70, 60. But if you're looking at the glyphs, so we got the more trap damage. We got the more poison damage. Then you have non-physical damage that would work with non-physical damage increases all non-physical damage. So this will work with the Ibeam really good. Because for every 5 within range, you deal non-physical damage, right? Chip is physical, so that wouldn't work. Closer is cutthroat skills. This is crit, that this wouldn't work. Crowd I mean, to crowd control, sure. Do we have shadow? This is too vulnerable. This is stun grenades. We got imbuement damage, but that wouldn't work. Headhunter is obviously headhunter. That was too chilled. That wouldn't work. Shadow damage. So you do actually have shadow damage, but it wouldn't. The bonus is shitty. The additional bonus. So it would still do good. So this is 20% shadow damage. I mean, you get non-physical damage pretty much, and shadow damage. Yeah, sure. Like, you have the glyphs to do this. What again was with your... When you attack with an imbued skill, no, that wouldn't do anything. Marksman skills, no. Crowd control, no. Inner sight gauge, no. Ultimate skills, I mean, that would work for everything. Yeah, you don't have the Paragon boards to really do it. I mean, apart from here, casting a mobility and subterfuge skill increases damage of your next skill by 75%. I don't know if this would work on the Ibeam. I mean, think about it for a second. Would this work on the Ibeam if you improve the damage there, right? I don't know. Or Spectral Ash. I know there's one that's dropping more progression stashes. Not mistaken. Spiritborn for lightning damage. Is Spiritborn really better than Druid for lightning damage? I mean, I just need to check, like, what's possible, right? Which power could you go for? What could you boost? Let's go for... I always felt like Druid would be the one for lightning damage. Okay, Spiritborn. Lightning Fart. I feel like Spiritborn is better for poison than for lightning. So you could have Grigoire's Lightning Square, right? After you cast a core skill, lightning goes outward. We apply all boosts. Warning. So we boost the character. So now like you're at 20,000 damage, which is obviously nothing, right? So after you cast a core skill, lightning tiles outward for 1.2 seconds. That would be lightning damage. My problem is always, how do you boost lightning damage? So this was activating main boss power grounds. No. This was burning enemies take more damage from your damage over time effect. So that would actually not work for what we're doing. We could do more overpowered damage, but overpowered damage would obviously, like the lightning, I assume Grigoire's lightning cannot overpower in itself per se, which is kind of sad, like, because Grants increase vulnerable damage for 5 seconds. So you would go for more vulnerable damage, I guess. And then you would get... Here, there was... Gain 5% increased damage to all elements for each 1% of elemental resistance. I mean, since that should work, technically, for the lightning damage. And you would have to take the deplete resource. Actually, the deplete resource is interesting for... for the Spiritborn, because with the Spiritborn, you could just go for the rings that help you. And I don't need any of these. I need the class-specific ones. I don't need that. On my way.
What will it be?
Class-specific ones. Because you could just play the Ring of Midnight Suns. Everything Moon. Peace. Am I blind? Everything Moon. First Breath. Peacemonger. Midnight Sun. So the idea would be that now casting a core skill. Let's just do this for a second. So let's say we're going to play Quill Volley. Okay. Because whatever. And with casting a core skill, you're summoning the lightning tiles. Okay. All makes sense. But then due to the Ring of the Midnight Hunt, we get our resource back. So you do core skill. And you summon these lightning tiles. We just have to like make sure to get some more resource back per se. Okay, what do we have with lightning now? So you got Bane. Bane is poison for every 5 non-physical damage. So that one would work really well for lightning. Colossus Gorilla Skilled, Pestilence Swarms. We could do vulnerable damage, centipede skills, critical. I mean, critical damage is obviously mandatory because we would go for the crit with the lightning strikes. So that would critical. Then you have fulminate. So you could go for crit and lightning. Okay, I can see that. Crit and lightning. You got Jaguar skills, Incarnate, Stormfeather potency. That would also be lightning damage multiplier actually, but useless because there's no additive and too multiplicative. Then later, healthy, revenge, intelligence, mystic circle. We would get another crit. So you could go for 2 crit bonuses and the lightning bonus. This is actually a lot. Huh. And we have... Well, we could get the damage from Vicious Shield still. You have Revealing for knocking down enemies and crowd control bonus damage multiplier. Highest damage bonus multipliers when you cast Jaguar Eagle or Centipede skills with the same spirit. So we get damage back. We just always have to make sure to get like a little bit of resource back that we could arguably keep spamming our skills, because that's like the thing. You want to be able to continuously spam out your skill. That, let's remove this one. You could like really just sit here, right? And get it all back. Oh, when you critical strike, we actually have to critical strike. I forget about that. Oops. Okay, we would have to create it, right? And then we would get that back. But right now, it would only sit at 66,000. I feel like this would be so much easier to pull through Starless Skies. I mean, obviously, Starless Skies is always going to make things easier. I mean, no matter what you play, you would go for Starless Skies. Unarguably, you would go for Shroud of False Death. So these are like the standard things you'll go for no matter what. Funny how we hurled out at 2 million already without doing anything. Like no Paragon points spent, nothing. And the power is actually... One is at 207. We get this high enough. We need the mobilytics, and we need to swap the class over to Spiritborn. The first is a dex-based board. So for dex-based board, you're going to take Spirit. No, actually, you're going to take, what was it? Not Fulminate, Hubris, Fitness. We'll take Fitness. We're going to boost this all. Because critical striking gives us Spirit back. So we're happy, right? You get a lot of critical strike damage. That's obviously good DPS. Love to see it. What is an intelligence-based board now? Intelligence-based board. Vicious Shield would be 59 end. You would get Convergence is 54 end. $69 end. That's actually good. To go for sapping board. Sapping would also give us resource generation and maximum resource. That would be helpful. We would get more max life. We would get resistance to all elements. We would get more attack speed. And then we would go for end. An end, and you could play the Colossal now for Kenny for non-physical damage because we do lightning damage. Okay, so that increase is now bringing us already to 421,000. So we can boost our spirit up, and then we do. It's already like that's more. So now with the spirit, by the way, we get back. Look, we are actually sitting at more permanent spirit, so we could continuously strike out these lightning tiles from Grigoire. Because that is the basic idea. You would like just make sure to get the lightning tiles like continuously. The most important part is that you need like a tons of crit chance, because right now what our crit chance is at like 24.5%. So that's like not enough. We need way more critical strike chance, like by any means possible. Okay, what is the other intelligence-based board? Do we have another that was 69 intelligence? That was 54. Bitter medicine, but bitter medicine is not good. Spiny skin is also not good. Revealing is 59, I guess. And that's 64. Infighter would be 64, but Infighter is just not good. You'd have to go for Revealing. Oh, Air of Petition. Air of Petition is a good point. Thank you very much. Yep, you're right. I mean, obviously, we don't want to play a build that relies on 20 billion uniques, but you're correct that Air of Petition would actually give us good crit. So now we suddenly sit on. But if you compare this, like, right now, if you compare this to the billions of damage that the Necro can easily deal, like, you already noticed that the Grigoire's Lightning Square is by no means as impressive as the Belial's Ibeam. Because if you compare this right now, this is 20 levels upgraded, okay? It's sitting at 650,000 damage. Cool. But the Ibeam is already sitting at 4 million damage. Ta-da. Like, for example, if we replace this through the Lilith of, like, Winds of Hatred, right? We could just spam this to, like, get the Winds of Hatred out. And the Winds of Hatred, they would get, like, stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. I just feel like in the long run, like, I just want the actual lightning strikes to be something you could go there. Oh, you missed the legendary node. Oops, yeah. You're right that we missed the legendary node. But I'm just a humble beginner of this game, so obviously things can happen. This is the first time I'm actually ever playing Diablo. I've never played Diablo before. Yeah. So like these things happen, obviously. You say different, you're lying. And I will find out why. Okay, we have all the int that you could possibly take there, and we wanted to get the dexterity. Why did we have int again? So we put on the canny for the intelligence, non-physical, the fitness, and we had lightning damage. Yeah, here, the fulminate. That's, oh no, fulminate was dexterity based? Wait, hold on. I thought it was intelligence based. Oh, well, that makes things even more interesting. The fulminate was like dexterity based. Like right now we would sit then at 8, so 1 million base almost with everything spent. Again, nothing too impressive. Like, right, we were doing like hundreds of millions of damage so far. I mean, obviously we don't have any aspect spends, so our actual critical strike damage bonus is nothing to look at. We have like only 100% critical strike damage bonus, and you could obviously get this way higher if we do something with block chance and all that kind of stuff and resolve stacking. And if we actually do spend our skill points here to get casting core skills, is vigor generation, sure, that would be amazing. And then you could go for getting yourself more damage increase against vulnerable enemies. You could get ourselves, what was it, more damage while we're unhindered or unstoppable, and that would be easy to achieve. We could get ourselves more resolve. That would obviously be something. You could get more ferocity because you wanted to have more ferocity, right? With Ravager. We could get eagle skills increased by, no, but we don't need eagle skill damage. We need lightning damage. That's the problem. Is there even any like lightning damage increase? Because that's like the issue somewhere abound. Do we have an actual lightning? Like, I mean, we have Jaguar skills increases the crit damage. So, right. So stack of ferocity damage increase. You could have the casting ultimate skills to give you more damage. Nothing too crazy, so we would have to play. We have to play the hunter, I would assume, because eagle is sadly not going to work. But which ulti would you go for? Probably adaptive stance or vital strikes. Because you would make enemies vulnerable and then you remove their vulnerable. So you could like do this. Something along that line, and then you would end up with a have like 1 million base damage still, so the scaling is not too crazy. Right, we would obviously have to apply more vulnerable consistently. Wasn't there a power that also applied vulnerable? Wait. When you take damage, you deal increased close damage, gain vulnerable damage increase. Yeah, we could have a vulnerable damage increase, which is obviously nice. Casting a basic skill, what maximum resource spends on all to make nearby enemies vulnerable. Activating your main boss power grants increased vulnerable damage. Yeah, so we had that, obviously. But was there another way to make things vulnerable? I mean, like, obviously making things vulnerable is not hard. You just take lucky hit chance vulnerable and that's it, right? Done. But this seems like vastly harder to scale already in any way. I mean, the Belial's Ibeam power, that was just so easy to scale and get to do tons of damage, while the others are vastly harder to scale. I mean, and Daryl's Flaming Scale is just like stand still and you get this. Ta-da! Flaming Skull. Was it after damaging, shoot a piercing projectile? I didn't try the Harbinger's Hatred volley yet. That one we definitely have to try out. The other ones seem like so hard to get good. Straight out of the house, right? I kind of wanted to try out Lord Zier's pool because you do this, right? And you just spawn a pool of blood. I wonder what happens with multiple enemies. It's only 2 pools of blood, right? You can have up to 3 active pools. Okay. Because I kind of felt like if you do a bleeding build, couldn't that work for Barbarian? I know Barbarian has fire damage, right? Fire damage seems good. But why? See, like this ticks for 50 million now. Like compare this right now to our lightning power. So we add the lightning power, right? And the lightning power just hits for also some millions here. You can see that. So the lightning squares going out, they have the opportunity to hit like for 60 million, 100 million, and that kind of stuff. But I've actually boosted lightning damage, correct? I've done everything to boost lightning damage right now, and it only hits for 60 million. And then I take my unupgraded Lord Zur power. See, let me boost that Lord Zur power up right now to level 20. And let's do this. And suddenly you have that Lord Zur power, which is just like here, it's still doing like 50 million damage there. And I don't have anything to actually boost this, right? I'm sitting at 50 million bleeding damage without having done anything. Which makes me wonder, what if I would do things? What if we scale bleeding damage now? Let's go over to a Barbarian for a second. Because I kind of like the idea of the pools of blood. Okay, which is my favorite? Which type am I? I always end up with her for some reason. Let's go with her. Bleeding. Also, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Sandy with his 122 months of subscriptions. Yes, some applause is in place here. Thank you for the long amounts of support. Thank you for the many years of Subber Dubbers. Appreciate it. When is season 8 out? End of the month. Okay. So, end of the month. End of April. I'm sorry if you still have to wait. So now, let's go for that is bleeding damage, okay? After you damage an enemy, spawn a pool of blood that deals damage over time, right? But shouldn't that boost also with a flaming skull? Because burning enemies take 40% more damage from your damage over time effects. That should work. Do I see this wrong? I mean, let's try for a second. So if I damage an enemy, do bleeding damage? Is there a basic skill that would help with this? I'm probably not sure if I want to do any basic skill. So we would have like, didn't Lunging Strike do something? Lunging Strike was here. Also inflicts bleeding damage. So we do bleeding damage, great. So you have Lunging Strikes, and we would spawn pools of blood. So the pool of blood does 340k tick. Right? Good. Now I'm choosing to add the Flaming Skull. And we're already doing millions, Chan. So just like that, nothing done, we're doing cool millions. Right? That was simple. What else could we add? Well, now technically you could add the Avarice. So when I use my main boss power, it drains all my resource. So now I drain all my resource to have the damage over time be more damage over timing, and I'm sitting here at... Right, we need more fury generation, but we can get this done. And we're sitting at 5 million. Like just out of the house, right? Nothing spent. So this is good. What else could we add? Now we got... I mean, this would add more damage versus vulnerable enemies, I guess. So if we make them vulnerable, we're good to go. Right? Surely? Should work. Okay. See, he was vulnerable there for a second. And bleeding obviously stacks into each other. So that would just like be basically no bleeding stuff. But you get your bleeding key passive. When causing an enemy to bleed, you have a chance equal to your critical strike chance to increase the bleed amount by 70x and also increase by 100% of your critical strike damage bonus. So wouldn't gushing wounds work like absolutely crazy with this? Am I just not seeing the bigger picture, right? You have Whirlwind, which could technically also add bonus bleed. I mean, you have the Rend, which could add... Rend is adding bleeding damage. I mean, you could also go for Flay. Right? So the Flay would make them take increased bleeding damage. So wouldn't Flay be my way to go? Basic skills generate more fury. Increase your maximum fury. Then we would have the Shout probably. Here, damaging with basic skills or maximum life. I'm sorry, I'm like not the absolute Barbarian superstar, right? I'm good with Barbarian, but I'm by no means like a professional Barbarian player. See, like this, look how my bleeding damage is going up, so it's already working. So that already scaled. We just have to make sure that we get more fury. So technically, I would have to get Berserking, because if I get Berserking, while Berserking, I have more fury generation, right? And brawling skills have a chance to make me Berserk. So I would just have to add like a brawling skill to this to get myself to Berserk. Now, what do we have? We also have the chance to explode, to rupture all the bleeding damage. But your bleeding effects deal increased damage to vulnerable enemies. So that's what we want as well, correct? I'm probably not sure if I want to rupture. I don't want to. But we could do the rupture to not remove the bleeding, right? Yeah, ripping your weapon out enemies during rupture causes the enemy to deal bleeding damage over 5 seconds. The damage is increased by, so we could do a lot of bleeding damage, but you could do the rupture to not actually remove that. We could do more damage to close enemies, damage to injured and healthy. We could have like, wait, what was fortify? While fortified, you gain damage reduction. I'm just like trying to weasel my way in again into understanding Barb. Here we get gushing wounds too, right? We could do Wrath of the Zerker to just be continuously zerkering. We have... Oh no, we do two-handed weapons right now, but we don't need critical. We need none of this. So this is just like basically some point spend. So that's already doing my bleeding pools do just 5 million damage like this. But we still have our Paragon board, and for Paragon board, you also have here 5 decks within range. You deal increased damage to bleeding targets. But that's not more bleeding damage, right? That's more damage to bleeding targets. What class would you recommend for next season? So for the people that have missed this, we're gonna keep doing the Bard, but I just like as a little refresher on what we have done so far in this stream. So hi everyone, thank you for so many people being here watching me experiment. Appreciate it dearly. Name's Ponyhoff. We have so far done Jack Sparrow. That's Jack Sparrow because below the mask he does actually look like Jack Sparrow. Okay, just saying. And my main thought with this build was I would like to have the boss power to go crazy. Okay, my friend? So we want the boss power to go crazy. Now let's drink a potion to increase this. And in order to have the boss power go crazy, we went for shadow damage over time. Shadow damage over time. And this leads to our beautiful Belial's Ibeam. Activate this, and the Belial's Ibeam, if you pay close attention, this is Pit 90. Pit 90 is crazy at this point. does 248 billion damage. Okay. I just did 248 billion damage with that Ibeam. So my prediction of doing 200 of billions is possible. So that's how strong the Ibeam can be in the end. But again, the crazy part is that in order to get here, I would have to have runes 100 already, which you just wouldn't possibly physically feasibly have. So pit 90 is only possible with crazy builds. Now I do 248 billion, which makes me obviously very happy. And it can be done with the Ibeam. But it's crazy harsh. It's not your everyday happening. That was 223 billion there right now. But it's happening. Could I scale this to trillions? Maybe. Maybe. If we look like for greater affix items and if we get like the perfect routing and everything done, maybe I could do it. The fun part is it's damage over time, which makes me really happy. Like I like when damage over time goes bonkers, because usually damage over time is never going bonkers, right? Damage over time just doesn't go there. It's kind of like Stiffold. Now I can do it. Firesork does trillions. I heard Dub. And I'm happy for Firesork, because Firesork is meant for this, right? When I do shadow damage, and I'm pretty sure like if I sit down and if I try out different aspects, I'm pretty sure we could get it done. I mean, right now I'm not playing, for example, the Ring of Starless Skies, but I could add it to this build to just make me do more damage. It shouldn't be too impossible to do that. I mean, that being said, we do 300 billion damage. I just saw it on the snake. So we do 300 billion damage over time, but it's barely enough to do pit 90. Do you think this is what Blizzard wants, Chad? That you have to do 300 billion damage to even be able to do a pit 90? So to answer your question, what class would you recommend? I think every class kind of works. Every class has a boss power to work. The goal is right now this season, the coming season, to make boss powers great. My problem is though with the coming seasons then, what are we going to do there? Because right now I could do a pit 90 with the boss powers. If you though take the boss powers out of the equation, I would not be able to do this. There's not a single Necromancer build which could do a pit 90. So what do we do without boss powers? So yeah, I've seen the Firesork doing trillions. That's why we're not experimenting with Firesork right now, because I know it works, right? I know you can do trillions with Firesork. So it seemed like, for me personally, a bit boring. Like, why would I, you know, do the same as others? So I wanted to experiment around with Necro, and we're definitely going to be having to fine-tune this a bit more. We have to try to max roll some items and masterwork some stuff, and then see what we can actually come up with. Because obviously we would like to see this build like fully maxed out if I can do trillions as well, because billions is just not fun enough. And that's what we have the PDR for, to really max out things and see where they can go. But this is the first time now that we're slow at anything. So right now we've blasted through everything. Pit 85 was also simple. I mean, we still have like enough time left, right, to push further, but still. You have played Necro only so far. You're pretty new to the game. Well, Necro is fantastic. Generally speaking, I would recommend you to try out the other classes too. They're all fun. I have been a Necro-only player for the first 2-3 seasons of the game. And then after season 4, I started making every class, because every class is fun to play. Every class has their respective thing that makes them stand out, right? I really enjoyed making Barbarian bleed builds and Druid storm builds and that kind of stuff. So there was much joy in each avenue. High recommendation. They all have their thing that makes them truly fun to play. There's no ice boss power. There is. It is the chest beam of the Wandering Death. That is an ice boss power. It allows you to shoot out a beam that inflicts frozen damage over time. That might be a problem because it is freezing damage over time. So yeah. Okay, now we're a bit unlucky because this pit here right now is so weirdly set up that we have to probably get back into the other level to kill everyone. We also need to try to implement like some pull together, because right now we have nothing to pull the enemy together. You might notice how that is actually a problem. Started Torment 2 and I just keep dying. I mean, the Torment tiers are unforgiving, sir, right now. Absolutely unforgiving. Ah, we got him. Okay, let's see how the boss DPS is. Stupid boss for it, though. Okay, let me... It's funny how the boss DPS is just better, like, than actually going through the dungeon, right? The good thing is this build cannot die, because I produce infinite potions. So I cannot die because I make, like, potions beyond belief. There's like no way like I'll ever die to the actual like anything. I can avoid damage due to having my blood mist, so we have that going on for us too. And we're just doing hundreds of billions of damage to the boss. That was a 619 billion. Wait. Hold my horse, Chad. Did I see that correct? You saw 1,000 billion there. Okay, let's watch that fine for a second. Pretty sure at the end I saw like a very high billion. The standard it's hard to like see these numbers, right? There's 300. So there was just one frame back. Here, 373 billion. 373 billion again. 383 billion. 882 billion. 1,223 billion. Woo! Okay, we did trillions of damage, chat. We have arrived. The Ibeam trillions of damage build. Nice. Okay, I thought trillions is not happening. I was wrong. Trillions is happening. That's good to see. Yeah, GG. Okay, that's pretty damn impressive. Now let's see why is that so impressive. This glove does not even have additive damage bonus and damage over time. This doesn't have damage over time. This doesn't have damage over time. This one doesn't have a greater affix to Reaper's Pursuit. This doesn't have damage over time because we thought we actually needed. So like right, and it's not even masterworked a single time. None of these are masterworked pretty much. So, like, there's so much more damage that we can get. This is, like, literally, like, version 1.0 basic trials. Can this do what it does? And it does what it does. But there's so much more damage out of the house possible, right? So much more damage that we could potentially be getting done. Interesting. And that's only my first build, right? But hey, trillions of damage. Now to increase crit chance. Crit chance wouldn't do anything for the build. The build is damage over time. Damage over time can't crit. Cappuccino, if you post the build, we'll definitely, as soon as the stream is done, we'll do a complete wrap up for you. We'll get the build out there. We'll make a video, so don't worry. But I wanted to also get I wanted to play around with a Barbarian, to see, dominate. That was here, increase bleeding damage. So I would need a willpower board. It would be bleeding damage. This would be damage. This would be like building a pole arm. Damage while berserking, which we would need for the multipliers. Barbarian just has like so many stupid multipliers that all work like nicely together, right? Oh, that would be bleeding damage's willpower board. What is a willpower board for Barbarian? Is the Blood Rage is not a willpower board. Willpower, 79. The Force of Nature. That would be stupid because we're not using it. So you would need Decimator. Or you would need Weapon Master. Or Flawless Technique. Probably Decimator. Take Decimator. We just hear that. We need to take the Executioner. No, what is the Challenger? Yeah, I want to say, what was the Barb aspect called again that just grows with strength? Right? So we just spam strength into that one. Get the name. Okay, so then we would what was the name? Go for Decimator. Bleed is physical damage, so every physical damage boost is actually worth it. Right? That was willpower based board, so I need to take everything willpower related. And then you would put in the... What's the bleeding node? Any damage to bleeding. What was it called again? Oh my goodness. How few I know actually about Barbarian is sad. Like I know my way around some builds in the Barbarian, right? Not enough. Which one was... You're bleeding down. Everything willpower related. This is certainly not the optimal way to get into this board. That's for sure. Okay, you get 69 points of willpower. So that's another 200 bleeding damage. And that instantly brings us up here. Not as much as I would actually like to see. Oh, sad. I can't worry him. So it's not 1,000 billion hit. It's stacked up that high. What do you mean? The damage over time? The damage over time is hitting the thousands of billions, the trillions, because it is stacking the shadow damage over time with the consecutive skill casts. Oh, look, chat. We could already go for 13 million now. Aha. Okay, that's making the bleeding damage higher. Now, only my basic skill is just like not doing enough damage, right? Like a little bit sad how low that is. Doesn't help that we don't have anything in the skill tree. I mean, we would probably have to have Flay up. Isn't there a Flay amulet for the... mean, you could do Rupture, right? So you'd have to play the Fields of Crimson, probably. And you would have to play Ring of Ravenous? No, that would be for Rend, right? And either you would play Ring of Ravenous or you would play Battle Trance, right? I'm not entirely sure if you... I know, Ring of Resonance was Frenzy, not Flame. Wasn't there even a Flay thingy? For basic skill, it's OP. Well, I mean, the damage is not coming from the basic skill. The basic, like, the damage here is merely coming... See, that this is 55 million, 56 million. So it's coming, like, only from... the... Pool of Blood we're putting below. So that's actually like a Pool of Blood build, right? Shard of Rathiel was necessary to make Flay viable. Yeah, I would prefer to play Rend over Flail. So if I could actually play Rend, because I like Rend as a skill, right? So Rend is kind of cool. So if we could like not play Flail, that would be cool. So if I could have like Rend as my main skill, that'd be very helpful. I wonder why I cannot remove this item contribution now. Wondered. So if we could do Rend, but for Rend I need more Fury generation in general, right? So the whole plan is I need a lot of Fury generation, so we could like do Fury. But you could play the Ring of the Ravenous, and you could play... Wasn't there a bleeding pole arm item thingy, Chan? Don't mind me, chat. Don't mind me just having like all the stuff. Grandfather wouldn't do anything actually for what we're doing. What was the pole arm did do? The pole arm was damage over time duration, damage over time, chance to become berserking, enemies afflicted by more damage over time. Can I just play the pole arm too? Can I? No, I can't play the pole arm and the crimson blade, right? Sadly. Okay, screw the blade. Screw the glaive. I'll play both. The new unique gloves for Barb, but they're for Mighty Throw. We're not doing Mighty Throw. Like, I want to do Bleeding build. Plan from the very beginning. You mean the Bane here, right? Mighty Throw not happening. See, we're at 100 million already, Chad. So billions should be easy to hit. See, 350 million. That's where we are already. See? Just like I think we could probably get this bleeding take to more. I mean, this is again with me like stumbling around, flailing around, trying our best here to make things work, right? We're not even berserking, so this is something. Like if we were berserking, it's straight up more. So my problem is how would I be berserking? Like in order to berserk, I would have to Warcry probably. So that would be adding the Warcry, then I'm berserking, but I would have to maintain the berserking, so that's like the thing, right? You notice we were at 400 million already, so my pool of blood actually brought us up all the way. But I need more Fury generation. I just suck like at Fury generation with Barbarian in general. See, there we're at 520 million, chat. We're almost at the billion pool of blood damage. I just want to do these pools of blood because I just like the idea of it. We get the pool of blood together with the Avarice Ore. So damage over time is just the total. Well, so the thing about bleeding is that bleeding just keeps stacking up into each other, so that kind of works. There are aspects for Berserking. True, we could just do that. I completely forget aspects, Mantas. It's like, there are aspects for Berserking. Yeah, you're right, there are. But thank you for jump-starting my brain, brother. I forget that aspects are a thing. Like, and Barbarian has a lot of them, right? Thank you. I'm getting old. What do we have for bleed aspects, actually, on Barbarian? You get the Iron Blood, but that's not what we're looking. Oh, but it's actually damage reduction. So whenever you deal direct damage while berserking, inflict base damage dealt as additional bleeding damage over 5 seconds. Yeah. So that technically can be added just for more bleeding damage, right? I mean, ignore me that I'm not sure how to make the perfect bleed build, right? Your rupture does not remove the bleeding. Yeah, see, this one you actually do have to play, because this one would allow you to rupture every 10 seconds, and my rupture would actually only add more bleed. So that would work like really good with a pool of blood. So technically, in order to get the most out of this, you would have to have it on your two-handed weapon to have this down to 5 seconds instead of 10 seconds. Yeah. And then we have, what was it? Berserk. I mean, we could get Berserking over things, so we don't we don't have to do utility. Damaging an enemy with a core skill has a chance to extend the duration of Berserking. Double this duration if, yeah, you could do Relentless Zerker on the boots if you wanted to. Because then you just berserk and then you just extend it. So that's actually easy. Apart from Ren just having a horrendous lucky hit chance, probably. And what for damaging aspect? You could just do increased damage and gain 40% increased damage and berserking for first seconds after spawning weapon 8 times. I don't know. Well, what do you do for damage again on Barb? Jesus. I forget off half the damage aspects. Just like a generic damage aspect. I mean, you could do creeping death, which actually increases your damage over time, right? That does actually work. But I completely forget what for damage aspects does Barb actually have. You knew retribution. So far, like, always played the weird builds, right? This is just her basic skills. Nothing like too special. We could do conceited just because, but more aspect like that. Moonrise is in case you stick with Flay. Yeah, I don't want to stick with Flay. I really don't. Like, I would like to stick with Rend, because with Rend you could again play the Ring of Ravenous, right? And that is just giving you way more. So I think the Ring of Ravenous could be good. But what do I know? And right now we just do, like, I'm just trying to scale our thingies. So let me just put on intercom for a second. I just want to see, like, how far can we get the blood up? I mean, we're sitting at 234 Paragon points, so I have so much more Paragon points that I need to drastically spend, right? I need to spend them all. Oh, that's a billion, chat. Look. With that Berserking, we already had the billion there happening. That's a billion, okay. And this is without the rupture aspect. So if you now add the rupture, and then we do enhance rupture, and we do this, because now you do bleeding, okay, and then you rupture that out. And again, rupture can be done every 10 seconds. Where's the rupture aspect? Like, we get this aspect on here. Your rupture does. It's when it's golden, right? Because then you rupture things. Because again, every 10 seconds, and we're sitting at 2 billion damage almost. I mean, nothing special, but like we're getting there. Right? Again, that's up to the billions straight away. Cool. So wait, we got 2 billion already. That's simple, right? So we got a 2 billion blood pool. And we still haven't even gone into all the things that we can do. I like this. Isn't there... So hemorrhage, your bleeding damage is increased by 15% of your vulnerable damage bonus. Okay, we need to do that. We need to do hemorrhage. That would be stupid to not. But what hemorrhage board is? Hemorrhage is the board that has... strength, int, dex, willpower. So what other glyph would we have to add? We could damage 2 bleeding targets, but I feel like that doesn't make sense because we need bleeding damage, but not damage 2 bleeding targets, I guess. I mean, it would be better if I could get, for every 5 strength, like if I could get a strength-based board. For polearm, sword would be good. Damage to vulnerable, but that's dex. Damage while berserking. I mean, I need the damage while berserking as high as possible, so I guess that is important. Because we need more damage while berserking. So that could be a thing. Damage reduction against bleeding enemies. Dodge chance is useless. This is vulnerable damage and bleeding damage. So bleeding damage needs to go as high as possible. And you would have to pick up all the strength nodes you can on the way. Ignore the absolute bad passing there. Which one did we say again we put in there? Jesus, the berserking one. Damage while berserking is called... Why am I forgetting half of the names? Like, chat, someone help me here. Damage while berserking. Because you need to go for the board 2. That would be... killing a bleeding enemy has a chance to grant berserking. Your damage is increased by 10% of your damage while berserking. Yeah. So you would need that. And then you would have to grab yourself as much damage while berserking available. And bleeding enemy damage. That's a lot of damage while berserking. And that's damage to bleeding enemies. And then we put in here like a rare node. Damage bonus while something... There's like some here. Weapon mastery skills. Cooldown. No, we don't need cooldown reduction. Godness Barbarian. Why do I know so few about you? Here, two-handed weapon damage just for a second. Get more strength. Get more max life. Get that damage while berserking. That's now a nice bonus. Damage reduction from bleeding enemies. Cool, cool. We did it. We're amazing, Chan. So, that was giving us a lot of... So, let's see. What do we have here, Chan? Oh, that was a 9 billion hit. Okay, we have like 6 billion damage over time. That's not 100 billion yet, but... we're working on it. Well, we're definitely being inefficient with our like his abilities here. Fury generation needs to ramp up a little bit. Okay, well we're I mean 6 billion bleeding damage is definitely more than I've ever done before, right? That's nice. What other board does make sense from the Barbarian? That's 1, 2, 3, 4 boards. What's the final board? Carnage is, that's critical strikes. That's overpower. Damaging enemies with one-handed weapons increase your critical strike. No. Every 75 fury spent, you gain maximum life. No. Swapping weapon grants you maximum fury. Your earthquakes deal more damage. So there's nothing here actually that does anything for us, right? It's kind of sad. I mean, maybe injured and healthy enemies, right? But we're not really overpowering. I mean, can you not, like, whenever you overpower, your ultimate skills deal increased damage, but we don't really do that, so we don't really have overpower skills. So we need to go for... Yeah, we always overpower, but is that what we're looking for? To have more overpower damage? I kind of feel like I guess the best we have is Weapon Master. Just as something to put in there. Let's just get the Weapon Master rolling for now. Attack speed is actually good. Okay, not even put something in. This is all just like testing how far can we go with things, right? How far can we get things going? I still feel like our Berserking is not lasting long enough, right? I have some Berserking bonuses, but it's not there. We also need way more attack speed to kind of like vibe ourselves in. But I'm happy that we could get like just 7 billion damage over time, so that's nice. Oh, is it 8 billion almost, chat? Is the damage over time stacking? It's stacking. It's also with all your multipliers. So right now, for example, like you see the damage over time is 4 billion or something like that. So then I activate my yell and then damage over time gets more because my stuff got more. And then I rupture and suddenly they're sitting in this boat. That was a 10 billion. Okay, we had a 10 billion, chat. But I still feel like we're just scratching the surface here, right? Because we get like this standing still bonus damage multiplier. We have these things. We get the rupture. We get the direct damage bleeding thing. But you could feelingly do so much more, right? I mean, I'm like scratching. I haven't spent 25 skill points. Oh. And the problem is this is applying damage over time, right? It's actually almost inflicting 1 million damage over time with 13 points in there. So we are kind of like having the basic skill going on because when Flay deals direct damage to an enemy, so we need to like Flay Rend to actually have like this maximum damage going on, right? And it also says damage to an enemy with a basic skill increases your, so like in order to get like more, we gotta go like Flay Rend, right? Because that has me deal more damage when I do both. My main problem is that I'm just not maintaining the Berserking right now. But that's just me being like bad at the game. If they fixed the polearm, they would solve all berserking issues should you choose it over Crimson. Yeah, but I feel like the feel of Crimson is so good because it gives you more bleeding damage, right? And it has the, while using this weapon, damaging at least one enemy with Rupture creates a pool of blood. Enemies standing in the pool take 70% increased damage. So it's like a 70% damage increase thingy. Oh, by the way, one thing I completely forget is you could take also the technique. So that's more damage to vulnerable enemies, right? I mean, technically, you could take the sword expertise for even more damage. But you would probably go for that. So the sword just feels better, I feel like. And I don't know which ultimate I would use for this, by the way. So are you going to use like Iron Maelstrom? I don't even know how to use Iron Maelstrom correctly, right? It's kind of like a chain thingy. You could do just Zerker, I guess. Because that would just have you do more damage. And you don't need Concussion, Brute Force, or Well Up. None of these actually does anything. Right? You could heal for spending Fury, though. But I don't think we need that too. You get bonus Fortify. Here, more Fortify damage. Would have... The slow is not needed. You could pump the Rupture for more damage. You could pump the Flay also for more damage as you're actually playing the Flay. Right? You could do that. If you forgo the two-handed aspect, you could go for Grandfather. Yeah, but like I'm not sure how much the critting would really factor in. It would only factor in for the Flay, pretty much. Right now, we're sitting at least at 14 billion. I mean, even for someone who doesn't know what he's doing with Barbarian, we're just squeezing out 14 billion damage. So I guess that's fine, right? Hey, Chow, I don't know what I'm doing. And we're not even using, like, is there a bleeding rune? Was there a rune that did something with bleed? No, right? But you could technically still add the earthquakes to just have random earthquakes happening if you wanted to. You could have ultimates cooldown reduction stuff. We could... add more shouts. Could add more life. Could add more crit chance, actually, to hit more crits. Right now, I would just randomly add more earthquakes because you can. Like, right? You can just do this. More damage over time because the earthquakes count actually as direct damage, so they would add to the bleeding as well. As you can see, the bleeding keeps stacking up because the earthquakes, they do count in terms of like direct damage. So like we're 25 billion suddenly. Because you have this thing that says that's 24 billion. So you have this aspect here that says, whenever you deal direct damage while berserking, inflict 35% of the base damage dealt as additional bleeding damage over time. And I tried this out that earthquakes are counting. So if I'm now making earthquakes, right, they count as direct damage while, like, but the question is, would an increase in the earthquake damage actually lead to more damage? Because it says base damage. So technically it shouldn't count, right, if I do this. But it does just work like for the overall. I mean, we just went up to 30 billion, so I guess we're fine. What if I just randomly, like, let me go over to... Even now, walk to Torment 3, not Torment 4. Torment 4 is not happening. How much? I don't have enough armor. Oh, I'm actually pretty like weak in terms of everything. I'm pretty weak in terms of everything. I have no resistance. I have nothing, chat. I'm probably gonna die if someone farts on me. Please don't fart on me, Chan.
Another time, then.
We need Jugger down. My Bone Storm build still does over 200 billion constant OP after nerf. Still do fine tier 4 at least. Well, that's good to hear, brother. The Belial power is certainly perfect. Yes, it is. Yeah, we had that, and we have enough armor. We don't have enough resistances, and our life is like way too low. I'm wondering like why I have so few life actually. Because I have all these items that don't have max life. Yep, makes sense. Are you a fan of Formula 1? No, not really. The pool of blood is just a meanie. I hate this barbarian getting stuck though. If that pool of blood just kills him. Oh, it was tier 3. I mean, no wonder that the pool of blood would kill him. You know what we have to do, chat? We have to kill Lord Zur. We have to kill Lord Zur. With his own blood power. Okay? So, by the way, is this the best thing you can do with Barbarian and bleeding stuff? Absolutely not. There's other things you can do. That being said, though, I just like bleeding stuff, so I wanted to try out bleeding stuff. So, not that this is the possible best thing to do. It's just what I really enjoy doing. Or do challenging shout, just have 2 shouts. The best part is that the blood spawns are instant. See, like I just spawned 1 pool of blood, guys, not more. Just 1 like no other damage, just the pool of blood, right? And it's enough to kill the enemy. Okay, I'm ready. Yeah, we're doing good damage, so that's nice. I just like die because we don't have the HP, right? So we're just need to re-roll all these items into max HP that I don't like die to him looking at me. You don't know what you should do late game in Diablo? Well, you farm your build up to go as deep into the pit as possible, as deep as you feel into the pit as possible. Maybe you try to beat the Dark Citadel, but as soon as you have done these things, you're done with the game and you just don't look back and you're just done. Have I said done yet? Yeah, done. Okay. That's how it works. Welcome to Diablo. See, now that's looking a bit better. Maximum life-wise. Okay. Now we at least get a little bit more maximum life and don't, like, just fall over. We're liking this, chat. We're liking this. Okay, the game crashed. Didn't crash. I can still move my mouse. This is just Diablo standard performance, chat. Don't you worry. Nothing is wrong here. This is how it should be. Everything is perfectly balanced. Thanos moment, like here. Okay. Let's do that again. Of the same problem. This is actually the first time the test server has crashed on us now. So far, it's been pretty good. Crashing in my live service game on the PDR? How dare you? So, let's try to get back, but we're probably going to get this message like we're not allowed to come back. Oh, we are. Live server has a lot of crashes. It does. It does. And it is what it is. What can we say? Okay, we are Lord Zur, right? Let's actually do like here. Just like I gotta see which boss can you kill the easiest, right? Without like having to worry about your own life. Diablo 4 needs a balance. 90% of builds will be left behind and will stuck at pit 50-65. Yes and yes, but it's impossible to balance that. Because if you make content more difficult, then what are you going to do? Okay. So if you do keep making content more difficult because you feel like to make content more difficult, then obviously weak builds would never be able to live up to the hype. Right? Ionian? I don't know how they will counter that problem. I mean, obviously, we have the boss powers to make up for this. I mean, right now, I made a shadow damage over time build. Shadow damage over time builds would never be good enough to exist in current Diablo. Shadow damage over time builds are just sadly not as amazing as they could be unless you do some specific things with like the Zan rune or some other stuff. Still, though, like damage over time can now do trillions of damage with the new boss powers. That's great. Who does not want to see that? Maybe I should just not teleport, Chan. Our Bleed's finally back. I mean, we're already doing billions of damage with Bleed Grimoire, so we can kill everything with it. Even with me, like, just fumbling around and not knowing what I'm actually doing and having, like, a very inefficient build. So, Bleed does work. I mean, see, this is like just the Bleed. But again, is Bleed back or is just the hero power back? I mean, right now with one hit, my Bleed does 500 million damage. Just for you to understand how much damage the boss power does, right? So I wait, this one isn't even level maxed up. I'm gonna do even more damage. Sir, we ran to the dungeon because the game kept crashing. That's why we didn't instant teleport. Thank you, though. We know. We know. Oops, I got killed by an ice spike. Yeah, I don't have the resistance to the Beast of Ice. I thought like the Beast of Ice might be a smart choice, but then I remembered I don't have the resistance for it, right? I don't have the resistance for the Beast of Ice. I'm made of doo-doo. Yep, so we need to go for Zur or Gregoire again. Oops. That's why I ran here, because the last 2 times we teleported, the game crashed. Have you tested the Spiritborn using the burn effect and mobility spells on Spiritborn? No and no, Richard. Have not yet. There is a lot to test. I mean, today we wanted to make an OP Necromancer, and that worked out. Necromancer went absolutely crazy. Right? We're happy. I know he does lightning damage as well, but usually we can avoid most of the lightning damage. Relatively simple. And it doesn't help here that my resis don't exist right now because we just didn't. Okay, here, see, like, well, what is it? 10 billion. Ha, 10 billion. Okay, we get all the way up, chat. Okay, it's working. We just die because we're... No. I think you could probably scale this up to 100 billion if you would be doing it better. Oh, shit, I can't be hit by the lightning. I think we should just walk back to the training dummy, chat, instead of going into the real world. And, like, I mean, maybe we should fix our resistances first, but, like, no. I just wanted to try it out. Let me have some fun here. Here we go. Yeah, so Torment 4 boss can be just killed by bleeding, so that's kind of nice. The good thing about the bleeding is right now that it's instant this much damage. So we're not taking like we don't take a lot of ramping up to do this much damage. We just get there incredibly quick. It's like, boom! Bleeding stack. Fuck you. Pop, 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 pop. Right? I like the thing. Okay, let's see. How high can this go now? So 13 billion again. We're waiting for our shouts and everything to come back because that's like right now the cooldown issue. Rip this out. So 13 billion stackety ticketies is possible. Berserking, 10 billion. Rip this out. 21. The highest we've done is 30 so far. That's when like we have the here, the Wrath of the Zerker, right? And then we have everything going on together. And then you rip this out. So yeah, I believe like you could probably go up to hundreds of billions if you know what you're doing. That's 32 billion now. Okay. I mean, it's like, it's harder with the bleed power, definitely, than with the shadow power. So I gotta say the shadow power is more fun to scale easily, right? How can I make my Spiritborn do more damage? Is all power consistent, or am I doing something wrong as well? You might be just simply doing something wrong. Bad aspect combinations. You're using bad skills. Spiritborn in general doesn't do much damage this season. Okay. Hey, Katie, good to see you there. So Spiritborn in general in Season 7 is just not super exciting. What kind of weapon do you want for damage over time? Chad. What kind of weapon do we want for damage over time? Let's go back to the vendor. Is it a hammer? A staff? What does... An axe? Yeah, an axe, right? Hey, Mrak. Two-handed axe. Triple ancestral sword pan. Nothing cool here. Equipment. And all uniques. I'm looking for a amulet Fuck you, that's the wrong amulet. I'm looking for the amulet, with Reapers Pursued. Greater affix. And if I'm already gonna try to hit, like, we hit 1 trillion damage, chat, in case you missed it. But if we're already gonna try to max this build, I would kind of like to hit multiple trillion damage. So let's try to actually get the right amulet for this, okay? If we're already here. Yes, Reaper's Pursuit. That's the one I was looking for. Good. Random legendaries. We're looking for an axe, sword, chest. That's an axe, but not two-handed. Two-handed scythe. Scythe. Nothing. Or I'm blind. Scythe, chest, scythe. Sword. Sword, mace. Sad face. Okay, we got the amulet. The amulet's better. That's good. With the amulet, we get more Reapers Pursued. Because that's actually illegal. Because you're gonna have to disenchant that one. The plan would be, if you take this Eben Piecer amulet, to roll the Reaper's Pursuit on 9. Because if you roll Reaper's Pursuit on 9, and actually, like, if you upgrade it further, it goes to 11. Why is 11 Reaper's Pursuit so crazy, chat? Okay, do you truly want to know why this is somewhat interesting? Well, I can tell you. Crafting materials. Obald. Okay. Because with this thing now 12 times upgraded, this is 11 Reaper's Pursuit, and 11 Reaper's Pursuit says, for each darkness skill in your action bar, you gain 30% more damage. 100% critical chance doesn't do anything, Grimoire, not for this build. So that's 30, 30, 30, and 30% more damage. Bah ha 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 ha. Bah ha ha ha. Good. Good talk, Chad. Intelligence, and this one has damage over time. Attack speed can also be intelligence. Okay. Gloves can be... they can be damage over time. Okay, give me damage over time. I'm going to punch them in the throat. Thank you.
Need something forged?
Okay. They got damage. Shadow Finesse. Good. At least get everything 4 times upgraded. So Rift Duration, nice. Armor, cool. Oh, the weapon too. Good. Oh, and that one too, 4 times. And that one can actually go out for... Let's do the Harlequin Crest there. I need a Harlequin Crest with maximum resource. Wait. Helm, 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 helm. Oh wait, no, I need. Sorry, chat. Too many things in my inventory. Okay. Okay. Helm. 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 Okay. That is the wrong one. Again, we're looking for maximum resource equipment. Grant all uniques. Grant all uniques. Wait, grant all maxed out aspects. Grant all uniques. Maxed out all aspects. Uniques. Thank you. No wonder why the game keeps crashing. Yeah, terrible people that just crash the game. We don't like him. Helm, helm, helm. It shouldn't be so hard to actually get a helm with like the aspect I'm looking for, right? But it seems like it is incredibly hard to get exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, that is maximum resource. Okay. Good. That is Yaxlum.
Need something for it? You can take what's left.
Yaxlum.
What will it be?
Upgrade this until it hits maximum resource.
That is worth the coin.
Right. Thank you. Good. So now we need to re-roll. I need to get this one upgraded because it doesn't have a temper.
What do you need?
So rift duration, defensive needs to be armor. Total armor, I said. Thank you. Okay, that has a fixed, chat. Good. Now we are more powerful than ever. We have done 134 billion already. A trillion damage already on an opponent, right? In the real world, not only in the gaming world here, not only like illegally hitting a dummy. Boss dummy. The billions are just ticking. I love it. Just so easy to get the billions going crazy. But it seems to work better with more targets. Gonna try this out in the real world when we're going out and about. Oh, we missed the curse aspect. Dude, I missed so much damage because I don't have the curse aspect. I'm an idiot. I'm like, something is off. We're doing less damage. Well, because I'm missing the curse aspect. Because I fell on my head as a kid. Aspect of the cursed aura. Let's do cursed aura. On the pants. And then let's go into the pit. Those Bloodlines in Season 8, they wanted to make it better, and it's okay, but it's inconsequential because it's useless in terms of the greater scheme of things with the boss powers and everything. So sure, it's not bad. Like, okay, Bloodlands is not bad, but it's also not good. Okay, we made it to pit 95, chat. We did pit 90 just a second ago. Pit 90 was like okay hard, but like definitely not like a walk in the park, right? So what's the damage, chat? Which what we can see? 800, 900 billion. I just saw 900 billion just like that. Standard. So definitely the damage is higher already because I have seen like bigger numbers than I have before. Just like basic. I can't wait to actually get to the boss. So, like, but consider, like, I do 900 billion damage takes, right? And we're just scratching these enemies here. Maybe something is not as it should be. Wait, should we swap like right we're doing trillion of damage ticks, and we are able to basically get this done. But that's the whole point, right? If we did not have billion of damage take, a trillion of damage takes, what would even happen then? Yeah, our damage has gotten way more consistent upwards since then. Why is this build particularly working so good on Necromancer? Because I have infinite healing potions. So my Soul Rift does actually restore all my healing potions. So if I sit now like inside these opponents and I use my Soul Rift, then I just get all my healing potions back, and I will always have healing potions to spend for Belial's hero power. Super funny. Oh yeah, considering like the field's so short in comparison, like it might be getting the billions of damage, right? It's just not killing him. Oh, great, the freeze. See, we're back to the standard Necromancer problem that I mentioned earlier, that you are pretty much like, you are great, right? You're doing a lot of damage, but you can just get stunned, frozen, all that kind of stuff. There was a trillion damage on that guy. Chad? 1.2 trillion has been the highest, but technically my changes should lead to higher damage than 1.2 trillion, because we improved, right? We made it do more wholesale. When I see more and more of the 900, which makes me happy, because before, like, this was a random occurrence sometimes, and now it's like, oh yeah, there it is. Now it just appears. Oh, like we're definitely like 900 billion is just consistently happening. Not too worried about that. Actually, still a good time for a pit 95, but so again, like this, I would need my glyphs 100 to be able to do a 100 pit, right? So make it make sense, chat. Like, do you think this is properly balanced? Not the power in itself. I'm talking about the pit, because right now I do a pit 95, but my glyphs are already 100 because of the PDR boost. But that means in order to get to pit 95, I would have my glyphs already to 100, because otherwise I wouldn't do enough damage to actually do this pit. So how is that going to work? This looks boring. And my friend, the pit has always been boring. The pit is literally like just a little bit like trying to make your build a certain level of strong, getting your glyphs to level 45, then be strong enough to kill every single boss. Like, the pit is more like a proof of concept. Does it work what you're doing? And then a testing stone for your build to see if your build is working. I mean, right now, my greatest joy in Diablo, and why I'm still playing Diablo and haven't given up on the game, is making builds work. That's why I enjoy Diablo. That's what I have for fun in Diablo. Making stupid ideas work out. But yeah, usually that takes like a week up to 2 weeks of gameplay, and then I am done with Diablo because I made stupid builds work, and then I'm happy. Right? Yeah, to participate, you need the stuff out of the instance, but but you need to play the instance to actually get the stuff out of the instance. I know what you mean, Papalu. Like, right now, the scaling was just too harsh. And I think Blizzard also knows this, so I'm not too worried about this scaling actually staying. But you know what? Despite the scaling staying, we just only took a day to figure out a build to actually still be able to compete with the scaling. So that's still fun to me. And I'm proud of that. Keep making those stupid builds, my man. I'm all for you, brother. And we're here to have fun, and this is fun for me, so ta-da, problem solved, right? Was trying to have a good time, and I can tell you, like, we have streamed now for 4 hours, and I've been having a good time. I'm not disappointed by how I spend my time. I'm having fun. I have materials to make a video to talk about more the boss powers and how they might or might not be broken, but they need to be broken, right? So after we're done with today's stream, I can record the video for today as well to get that one rolling. That makes me happy. But now I want to arrive at the boss, so we need to push a bit harder because you notice I like my timer's running out, chat. We haven't died, so that's good. We're in Undying Calamity. Welcome to the Necromancer. But we also need to like slowly push towards the bossy because we obviously want to see how much damage we now do in the boss fight, because that's where really you can gauge the damage. You can see how high it's going. That's where we right now. Oh, there's more. Come, everyone, please. Come together. I need to remember like which of my powers is currently fearing. Oh, it's Belial's power that's actually fearing. Yeah, that's a problem. They'd still like pull together. Why is no one dying? It's like these stupid damage reducing guys being shield skeletons. They're actually like really being a problem. Yeah, and I think now we killed them all. Yeah, now we can focus on doing the billions to kill things, right? Billions to kill things, hundreds of billions of damage. Are we doing this without getting like really stunned the whole time? It's mostly blood mist, and that's why I kept blood mist in this build, right? I'm gonna clear this room because it can give us so much progress towards the boss. I think the boss is like gonna be like what, a 2-minute boss fight. Well, we're gonna kill that guy with a shield, chat. That's the last thing I do. 400 billion, 500 billion, 900 billion. Take, boom. I mean, the fear is not necessarily an issue. We could pull things just together, right? I mean, like if we wanted to, we could play also corpse tendrils, but I actually put corpse tendrils away because the range of the hero power was the boss power was just so big. Like look at the range that Belial's hero power is just hitting things. I mean, if it's like hitting people on Narnia while I'm in Mexico, then like let's just let it happen, right? Was this artillery shrine? Doesn't really do anything for us. The artillery shrine would have to do billions of damage to be even remotely considered worth it. Okay, you're dying to a big billion hand. You asked for it, brother. You're getting it. Potion. 200, 500, 400, 400, 600, 600, 800. Okay. We need to pull these packs of mobs together, but I fear that this 2 packs of mobs, they're still not enough. Even if I kill every single one of them, right? Oh, pit 95 is gonna break my neck, chat, even though we improved the build. Be the first pit that we struggle to finish, but we will get it done, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone prepare for greatness. The boss does not know what will hit him, okay? just crazy that we're doing trillions and nothing is dying. I wonder how Blizzard like thought this scaling is okay, because they must have tested it, right, Chad? They must have tested it, and they were like, okay, so like needing like a normal minion having like 400 billion HP, yeah, that's good. Yeah, right? What's 95 in season 7? 120? No, probably 180. My friend. No, so like like this is stupid difficult. I mean that they thought the 20% multiplier must like will work. I don't know what they thought. Like seriously. Okay, let's look at the damage he's taken, chat. I'm gonna try to activate all the bonuses. Okay, every single thing that I have in my repertoire of things. Okay, we're already at the trillions. Okay, chat, this is the fastest trillions I've hit so far. I've never hit trillions this fast. Yep, we're doing two, almost two. See if we can go over 2 trillion. Oh, sorry, hit the wrong button. He's done. This is it. We're in the end game now. This is where the damage comes together. Oh, 2 trillion. We did it. Chat. 2 trillion has been achieved. More explosions. Boom, boom, boom. Do it. Do corpse explosion. 5er stack, 5er stack. Okay, now's the time, chat. Come on! Do it! Do it now! Do it! Woo! Ah, beautiful. So, like, but again, this was a pit 95, and my glyphs are all level 100. So in order to do this pit 95, I would have to have my glyphs already higher than pit 95. So I would have to clear pit 100 to get my glyphs to the level where they're at. But I just cleared a 95. Barely. Okay, what does the HP look like, John? So we had him like here in a stun phase. That's usually the highest damage phase. Okay, we got what? There is... It's hard to see ponies zooming around too much. The map accidentally. There's 1 trillion, 2 trillion. Here it is. It's 1.1111 trillion, 1.6, 1.9, 2.055 trillion. To like... Yeah, that's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good, chat. It's good. Like here too, it's 880 billion, 880 billion, 700 billion, 900 billion, 980 billion, 800, 210, 800, 100 billion in between, like just a puny number. Number for ands, guys. What is this? There's trillion again. So trillion, 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 trillion. And then we got 800 trillion, trillion. Yeah. Okay, like, I mean, it's strong, but would I call it overpowered? No. But it does what it should do. Here, let's go. Here, by the way, Chad, this is the Bile fight. Or Bile. Bile. Do, 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 do. Oh, that's a lot of.
This stops nothing. I will drape this world in
We do this, and then we do that, and then we do this, and then he dies. We can loot. Oh wow! Look at me, chat. Look at me. Oh, just pulling the most random shit out of my butthole. Stupid. Good thing the boss got a rework. I mean, we're obviously at the end game super ultra pinnacle strength, so I think this is fine, right? This is fine. You're supposed to, like, why else, like, this character to be at this point, right? It's like 30 to 40 hours into this character. Otherwise, we wouldn't be this strong. So I guess it's fine that we're so strong.
be crushed like the insects you are.
Boop, 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 boop. Beautiful. Celic gives maximum resource. Yes, Celic gives maximum resource. And right now, Melted Heart of Celic would be 60 maximum resource. And 60 maximum resource in our grand scheme of things would be 60 times 60 times 3.4. Jesus. I know we don't have to type it in, but I just do it for visualization. So we're at 204 damage multiplier. That's good. That's a 204 damage multiplier. But right now, the Even Piercer gives us 11 ranks to Reaper's Pursuit. And 11 ranks is not even double masterwork. So 11 ranks is good. 11 ranks in this case, again, is 30% damage per rank more. So that is also 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're already at 120% damage. With the 3 bonus ranks to Gloom, where Gloom is 14% more damage, but it stacks 4 times multiplicative. So we're kind of coming to the same damage conclusion there of the 200%, while we still have also our Blight be able to shoot out more and apply more Blight, more lucky hit, more cooldown reduction, more everything. So I feel like we're better off using the Even Piercer like this. Also, if we would use the Melted Heart of Celic, it would actually drain our resource away as we take damage. I'm just like, I think we're doing better with the Even Piercer, and the Celic is obviously harder to get. That's now, though, just a thought. Random shower thought, right? Good. That being said, Sean, I think we made the OP build. I'm going to wrap it up here. I'm going to sit down now to get you this build out to you. So I'm going to record a video on how Necromancer is OP, how the boss powers are working. I'm going to make like some conclusive thoughts about this. I'll post that in around 2 to 3 hours. So thank you for coming and watching today. Hopefully you had an absolute banger time, a good one. Have a nice weekend stream. We're going to have a Sunday stream 100%. There's not a Saturday stream, so I'm going to be back on Sunday. But we have more videos to come, including Titan Quest 2, which was great as well. So shout out to all of you for being here. Shout out to you for watching this. Thank you very much. Tell the people boss powers are OP, but they should be OP. Therefore, I'll see you all on the video. Please watch and give it up likes. Dankeschön.